there's a lot of things that we have to, because we have to be on a quest and has to look good on quest. There's a lot of tools and things that we have to optimize specifically for the quest to look good and stuff. LODs being one, the shading being the other, and then also the code as well is the big one for you, because you went back and recleaned that recently.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the code has changed from 1.5 to 1.6, which is our next update.
Yeah,
Welcome
no,
Metaverse
you're okay.
Degen. I'm lying. Oop. Oh, Raptor's down there. I forgot.
Down here, you fool. What the fuck? You forgot where you parked me at? Oh, wow. I'm Old Man Raptor, and we have one hell of a guest today, and they are, go from left to right, if you prefer.
Hello, my name's savvychap. I'm the project director and one of the co-owners here at ArgusVRC for Project Aincrad.
Ooh.
Hi there. I'm LiveDimensions, the co-lead programmer at ArgusVRC, and also one of the co-owners and original founders of ArgusVRC.
Wow. Thank you both
To
very
have
much
you
for
here.
joining
Wow.
us. It's an absolute honor to be able to have you on and get to meet you. So
Yes,
thank
it is.
you.
Yeah, no, thanks,
appreciate it.
guys. Like it's been a long time because we scheduled this for a while and stuff, and I got swamped with everything. So I'm glad to actually finally get to sit down with you two. Yeah.
Oh, so
It's okay. Everybody likes parking a car. And once in a while, you have to get out of the car and fill it full of gas.
Yeah.
I got you. No problem.
what got the project all started and what got you guys into VRChat, may I ask?
Oh, that is a really good question. So I started with the team a little bit later. Live was like much before me. I can tell you a rough history of what I was told by our original founder, Zeratax. So Project Aincrad was originally created by a man called Zeratax, or in the community we used to call him the Kyber. He was the Akihiro Kyber of our swordartonline. Originally he was playing about with, so VRChat started to add in like gestures and contacts for your hands, and originally he created a world where you could fire rockets like Iron Man, and people could grab the rockets and stuff like that. And then one day he wanted to try to take that a step further by adding in like a menu system, so he started swiping down with his hands, and then realized when he was doing this simple motion, it triggered like a memory in him where he remembered Sword Art Online. And of course, anyone who's played VRChat or is into VR knows of Sword Art Online. So he decided to start making a menu system. And the simple idea was, if he could get the menu system to work, surely the rest of the world wouldn't be so much work, and coding a video game inside a video game wouldn't be that hard. 5 years later, we've now discovered that was very hard to do. Yeah.
But we've been working on it. Yeah, we spent quite a bit of time into this project. But yeah, like Savvy was saying, originally the team was founded by just a couple of guys that were passionate about Sword Art Online and VRChat, or just I guess VR in general. So I was one of those guys, along with Boku D and Nino, and then a little bit later, Somnus joined the team as well. I think we generally consider those guys and Sarathax, of course, the original founder, to be the group of people to be the founded members. But of course, we have way more contributors, and the team has been expanding ever since then. So right now we have about 30 members, I believe. Some of them are not contributing actively, like every single day or every single week. But we have our different departments and everything within the team. Yeah.
We have actively on the roster 42 staff members in total, but we have like moderation team which takes up 10 of those slots. So like we have like what we call helpers. They help on the Discord and sometimes in the world, and we have like, thanks to VRChat group systems, which is amazing, we now have groups that we can run and they moderate that as well. So we have 10 of them. And then, as Live said, we have 32 staff members that act. So you have the production team, I like to call them, who are actively like producing content on the team. So we have 32 of them, staff members, and we seem to be growing every day because people seem to be turning up and going, I have this amazing skill, and we're like, come here, we have a cage for you, just sit in here and make the content.
Okay, before we get too much further into what you guys and stuff, what brought you both into VR? What brought you guys into VR?
Oh, I'll let you answer first, and then I'll answer. Mine's very
Okay.
long-winded.
Yeah. So my story's a little bit funny because I I recently graduated from university, but back when I started university about 5 years ago, um, they had this like introduction class and they let us mess around with different technologies in a laboratory. One of the technologies was VR. And so I was like, oh, great, I'll mess around with it and program something on it. And I did. It was very simple. It was my first time using Unity as well. And that's kind of like my origins, my origin stories of both VR and also Unity. But then I discovered that I could play Beat Saber on VR. And so I asked the university if I could take the VR home because I needed to work on my project. But in reality, I was mostly just going to play Beat Saber. But then, so I got into VR because of Beat Saber. But then slowly I was like, surely there's more games, right? More better games or fun games. And then I found out about VRChat and started doing that and so on and so forth.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty awesome way to get in through
Ooh.
university. Oh.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We would be here for 5 hours, so I'll try and like cram it all into a very small be here for a while. So I'm 37 years old. Some of you who are probably watching this will never know the name, but you might know the name Lawnmower Man, the movie. You must have watched it at
My
some
God,
point.
yes. Oh my God, yes. You're making me feel fucking old. Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Lawnmower
I'm
Man.
showing my age. Yeah, the Lawnmower Man.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic movie. If you need to now go watch that on Popcorn Palace tonight, that's your challenge, YouTube comment section. So that was like a really old virtual, like, VR type of movie, and that kicked off my interest years ago. Like, I think Jesus was giving blessings at the time, and it was like, cool, we might have this technology sometime in the future. So I've always been interested in like VR and VR technology and stuff. And then over the years, it started to develop. You had Google Cardboard. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Yeah, I remember Google Cardboard.
Before that, you had IR trackers, like Tracker IR, where you could like move your head and stuff. So I've always been into trying to create an immersive experience that I could like do maybe concerts in, do stages in, do events in, make a video game in and stuff. And then Palmer Luckey popped up one day and went, I'm a mad scientist and I've created this thing that you can strap to your face. And I was like, take my money, take it, Palmer, please, create the nerve gear. And it wasn't quite the nerve gear, so the DK1 was, it was an interesting device. But I've been in VR for like a long period of time and stuff, under different names and stuff with different projects. Because usually when I go to a project, I'll change my name and stuff to fit that project, so that people don't just keep following me around and going, you're the guy that did this. I was like, yeah. So I've had a very long like time in VR, but I'm one of the. So VRChat, how I ended up in VRChat was on the company I worked with at the time and stuff. They had a developer kit sent to them, which came with a Rift and an Xbox controller, and there was this VRChat platform. Now, no one in the office knew what the hell it was, and on one of my lunches, I looked into it and was like, "This is pretty cool." I still don't understand it. And it was like a really small world, and you had this like clients and stuff. One of my friends has actually recently just got the client back. Doesn't work, but they managed to find the original client for VRChat. And then December 2017, I got my own. I think the Fallout 4 VR game came out, and I was like, oh, I remember these things from the office. I'll go and buy one for Christmas. So I bought the HTC Vive, which I'm still on. Haven't upgraded in 10 years. Got Fallout VR, and then VRChat came out, and I just started like playing VRChat for ages and going around different worlds, the Great Pug and stuff like that. So yeah,
Wow.
I've been here for a while.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty
Wow.
cool
Just
way
like
to get.
Kirito, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in VRChat. I haven't figured out how to get out of here. Yeah.
He went for a dive and the can't get back out. That sounds like a sword online. I got dived, you can't get out. At least you know all you have to do is shut it off and you don't die. That's a good thing. Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, that is one plus. Yeah.
Oh, so let's start into the beginning histories of the whole project. What was the first iterations of this whole thing like, and what kinds of things did you learn did the team learn while developing the project?
So the project started in 2021, but I didn't officially join the team till 2022 because, fun fact for some of the viewers, as I just said, we have a guy called Zeratax. He's the original founder. I didn't create the project, and a lot of people run up to me because they see me as the face and like, "You're SAO man." It's like, no, that belongs to somebody else. But Live was here, so I'll let you answer a little bit about like from 2021 to 2022, and then I'll jump in and explain from 2022 to present day, basically.
Yeah. So I don't remember the exact month when we started, but I believe I joined about like 1 or 2, maybe 3 weeks after the Discord was opened.
Hmm.
So way back then, it's been a long time. This world used to be only this plaza here that you see. It also had a different model. It was much more janky and stuff. So it was only basically this stone brick circle you see here,
Hmm.
the first one, all the way to the walls you see on the back. So it was pretty much just that, and then you could swipe down your hand to open the menu, and that was it. That was the first thing I experienced when I joined the world, and I don't believe it even had items or your health bars or your HUD. So all of that came after I joined, and so originally when it was kind of funny. So I originally wanted to. Oh, sorry, I got some drift on me. But I originally wanted to make SAO myself because I saw the anime. I was really excited, and then I got into VR, and I was like, oh well, I'll just like use Unity and started doing stuff. So before I joined the team, I made a few like UIs and HUD and stuff like that, and then I found out about this world because I was like, maybe surely someone already started. I found out about this world, I joined the Discord, and I saw Cerathax and Boku, and also Nino, and they were developing and they were writing in the Discord. The Discord was also not called ArgusVRC. I think it was just called like SAO Project or something very generic, and didn't really have a project name at the time. So I joined the Discord and I asked them, well, I would like to help. And they were like, they said that they didn't really need the help at the moment. They weren't looking to expand the team, and they were doing okay on their own. And they were, yeah. To be fair, they were doing fine. But then I was like, oh come on, I'm really excited about this. So I kind of like sneaked some of my videos and pictures about what I was doing, and they were like, okay, that looks really cool. Let's get you in the team, and you can start implementing your stuff. And so I was really excited because they got me on the team and I started working on the menu. I worked on the HUD itself. The HUD I actually like dragged from the stuff that I was doing before into this project. Of course it's much more different now from when it was before, but I remember that that was one of the first systems I developed. And then slowly the team started expanding more. I think Somnus joined later, and he's a really good 3D artist and helped us with modeling a lot of the models that are probably already replaced because those were also really old. But yeah, that kind of like really jump started the team. We started making more progress into dynamic elements with programming and also the remodeling.
Oh wow. Cool.
And I joined in 2022, like I was saying, like February 20. 2022, I think I joined. So that was when I officially joined the team. The community, however, I joined in the November 2021. There was a few different groups. Like I said, we have like a lot of like communities that form guilds and stuff. And I thought I was in the official dev team's Discord for this world, and it wasn't until the February when I saw the trailer and the new Discord name, Argus and 1.4, and I turned around to the guys and was like, "Oh, you're rebranding the Discord," and everyone's like, "What are you on about, you crazy man?" And I was like, you changed. I just seen your new trailer, and it turned out I was in the wrong Discord, in the wrong community, following.
Oh God! Wow, that
from a completely different like Discord. So then I joined the Argus. I sort of like stayed around and stuff, and then a friend of mine, Sweffen, got scammed in the world because we have like these funny crystals above our heads. Well, we have like icons next to our names now. Before in the old version, you had different colored crystals depending on your Patreon level. So one of my friends had bumped into a guy who claimed to be a developer for the world and scammed him out of some money. So I wasn't in the official Discord at the time, and he had joined to like find this developer, and then he came back into the world, and I used to be called Freaky Old Man, and I used to run around as like a Herbert the Pervert with like a cap on and all that, and just hide in the world. And he found me, and he was like, "The devs of this world don't believe. Can you join the Discord and speak to them?" And that's actually how I got involved with them. Was I joined the Discord, spoke to them, and explained, "Do you have like a credits like board in the world and stuff?" So I started giving advice to like Zeratax and stuff, and we kind of got off on the wrong foot because I actually work in the games industry. I work for some studios and stuff, so I have like real life experience and stuff. So I brought my real life experience and advice to them, and explained like how they could protect their community. And they eventually added in a staff team board now that shows you who the staff is in the world. That's in the Black Iron Palace, and that didn't exist before. And then I started giving more advice and more feedback and more like ideas and more help and stuff. And then over time, I eventually joined the official team and stuff. I originally started off as a independent news channel though for Argus that not many people know about, called PAN, Project Aincrad News. Haha, funny acronym. And I had like a frying pan logo. So I was doing like I was looking at their change logs, and then I would do news videos based on that. And I actually went up to them and noticed that I think we had something like 250 members in the Discord at the time when I joined. Oh no, 2,500 members in the Discord when I joined. Sorry. We had something like 89 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and like 100 people on the Twitch and stuff like that. And then I spoke to Live, and I spoke to Boku, and was like, "Who's handling all of your marketing for this? Because that's what I do in the real world and stuff." And said, "Could I bring my experience and take over this stuff and like start doing events and such?" So we did a pilot episode. It went really well, and then it just grew from there basically. And then over time, a friend of mine called Gold joined the team. He worked at a studio, and he brought his real life experience, and then we sort of like restructured Argus into a mini semi-independent game studio sort of hobby group. We used all of our like real life knowledge of like how a studio runs, departments and stuff, structures, things like that. We put that in place. And over time, I sort of went from being like a moderator and like news guy to staff member, sort of consultant, to helping on the project, to now being one of the co-owners with the project in the space of 3 years. So yeah, I sort of like went up the chain. And it's been a crazy ride ever since. Yeah.
Oh. So what were some of the earlier first updates outside this initial arena, and what are some of both of your favorite updates that have been incorporated into the world over the years?
Oh, I've been waiting for someone to ask me a question like that. I'll let you answer first. Sorry, go on. You can go first.
I was thinking, I'm not sure what my favorite update would be. Maybe one of the special events, the limited time events we've done. So that's also kind of interesting. So let me do a little bit of like timeline stuff. So way back then, I think the biggest update was 1.4, because it kind of like brought up the world to something that was explorable and was interesting to look at, and you could go and walk and explore everything, right? So that kind of like jump started the community. You would be able to like run around and find different places, find cool areas to be in. And I believe it also started working with the day-night controller system. So we have a in-game day-night cycle. Along the this video, you'll probably see it change behind us. So 1.4 was kind of like this big update for the world, and you could like rejoin and explore and find different areas. And then we released 1.5, which was the initial mobs implementation, and it was very buggy, but we kind of like just fixed it and stuff along the way. And then since 1.5, we've been doing like maintenance and adding very few little things here and there. And we've also done special events, so like Halloween event, the Easter event, the Christmas event, and some other small stuff like related to VCat. We add a portal here to take you to VCat and stuff. I think my favorite one would be Christmas, because I actually coded the special event that was running around in the entire world and finding gifts at a certain time synced across instances. So I believe it was every
45
2
minutes.
nights in game. So that would be about 90 minutes, I think.
Oh, was it 90
Or actually
minutes? Yeah.
twice.
Oh, yeah.
It was 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 days, yeah.
So every 180 minutes, the in-game present collection event would trigger. And like, so also because we have the day-night system, the time is actually synced between instances. So no matter which instance you are, the event would also trigger for you at the same time. So it would consist of just running around collecting presents that would start like spamming all around you, and you could just like run around and collect presents, and then the top 3 players would get extra presents, and you would see a nice leaderboard on your HUD. And once you had those presents, you can exchange them for like actual tangible presents, because
World
those were just like
items and
the
stuff.
collectible, right? The event currency. So when you had 10 of those presents, you can combine them and redeem a small present, and it would give you like a potion or something like that. And then if you collected 10 of those, you can exchange those for a large present, I believe. Maybe there was a middle one. I don't remember actually. It was a little bit ago.
It was small, medium, large, yeah, and it was the start of the
Small,
crafting
medium,
system that
yeah.
we started working on, like the item upgrade. But yeah.
If you wanted to actually get to the large present, which is the one that has the very nice Christmas weapons that was modeled specifically for the event, you would actually have to grind a few hours to just get one of those presents. So it was kind of like this nice little rush to like be on time every 2 nights in game to collect the presents and all that. It was also really fun because you could see the leaderboard and you try to be competitive with your friends and stuff. So it was nice.
Wow. That sounds really awesome. Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
So in terms of that event, before we move on to your answer, I was curious, how long did it take to set up that event for the back of house creation of it?
Right. Yeah. So some things take a long time and some things don't take that long. So for this event, it actually didn't take that long, but also because because the whole studio is actually a hobby studio. I like to call it that way. Nobody's paid or nobody's hired to do anything. So rather everything is voluntary. Everyone joins the team on a voluntary basis. We really want to explain to them that nobody's here hired to do something.
Yeah.
Everyone is voluntarily working on stuff, and the stuff that they want to work on. we obviously have a interview process to vet whoever is joining the team. But then once you're in the team, what we do is actually so depending on the time that you put into the project, you get a small cut of the Patreon revenue. And so it's more like a donation system for the contributors. So depending on the percentage that you worked on of the entire pool of total hours, that's the amount of money you would get. We are aware it's not a perfect system, but like we said, it's a hobby studio. The idea is to be passionate about the project and not really be here because of the money. So
it's less than a McDonald's worker, sadly.
because
We
of
don't
this.
pay very well. So, like,
Yeah,
if you're a McDonald's
of
worker,
course.
you get paid more than us.
Wow, does that mean I get
Pretty much,
change
yeah.
back when I order? I just want to make sure because that's
Yeah.
usually the way it works at McDonald's. Usually you get change
Yeah,
back. I'm just
exactly.
curious.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we'll give you change back. But yeah, we do have because we're non-profit and stuff. We try not to like make any money at all and stuff because you don't want to get in trouble with people. We have a Patreon fund. People like want to help donate and fund the project. So animations, they cost money. So like Live was saying, if we have someone who's working on animations or the Christmas scripts and stuff like that, we work on a system called Hack and Plan where we can set up like mini contracts for that specific person. We can set like a goal of like say 10 hours, and then we have a point system that works out. So like 10 hours, 1 point might work out to be $10. So that's $100. So then we'll do a shopping list each month and we'll sit everyone down who's volunteering. We'll be like, do you have time to make Kirito's sandwich this month? And they'll be like, yeah. Yes, but that will take me 60 hours. And I'll be like, cool, let's work out the Patreon fund. Yeah, we have the money. We can pay for that. The players get to have a sandwich. They're happy because they have a sandwich. Everyone's cool and stuff. And we manage that as the managers and stuff. But it's all voluntary. So we don't know when updates will come. So I think I know what you're about to say, which is when to answer the Christmas event and how long it took. We do crunch a lot when we get closer to updates because we might turn around and go, oh, we forgot to add in a backpack. Hey, Live, guess what? You're not sleeping this weekend. You need to code that. So then Live will like stay up and have to code for like 24 hours or so. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this
We'll
happened a few
let you
times.
carry
But
on
we've
answering.
learned from that, yeah.
We've learned. We've
So
tried
yeah, that
not
used to happen a
crunch.
lot with updates.
Oh.
We would like we'll be releasing an update on November the 6th. We would say that on media, and Savvy would set up a Twitter post, a YouTube video, etc. And then 24 hours before the event, we were like, "Oh no, this is not working. This is so broken." And so we'd have to like do a mini hackathon for fixing everything. And then even after all that work, we push it, and then everything's broken because a lot of
Chat
players joined, and
decided.
we didn't account for that. Yeah.
Or the big
So
one, which affects us a lot, is like Live will do a mini hackathon 24 hours before we put out an update, and we're so happy. And for like the whole week, we've been playtesting. We're in the testing world now. We're QAing and stuff. Everything's going great. And VRChat comes along and goes, "Do you want some Fortnite skins and sprays for your world? Here's an update." And then the boards are now broken, the chair script's broken, something's gone wrong because VRChat pushed this lovely update, but we have Fortnite skins that you can put on the world if you have VRChat Plus. And it's like, yay, thank you, VRChat. So that affects us quite a lot. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize that. So yeah, not much
Used
to
to
be
be
fair.
a
And they're
little
very
worse.
it used to be a little worse, but not as much now. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So back then, I think like it used to happen a lot more frequently because VRChat also didn't have that much stuff back then. So the menu was all janky before. I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember the menu was a pain to work with. It would like the quick menu was just like boxes everywhere, and it was a lot different back then. And also like the player movements and stuff was different. The udon, so back when I joined, udon was I think like about 2 months new about. So it was just released. Udon didn't have that many features. Udon didn't have manual synchronization. That's more of a programming thing. But a lot of things were missing from Udon. And so we were programming things in ways that you shouldn't really program. That's because of the limits that we had on Udon. So then slowly VRChat also updated Udon. A lot of stuff broke, but then most of the things were for the better. And so we also
Yeah.
slowly progress along with VRChat and along with the new features. So actually this world is usually on par with the VRChat features that are released for world development. And so I actually think that some of the times, this is just my theory, my hypothesis, but I feel like some of the time
No.
VRChat releases stuff for this world specifically because we're like, oh, how are we gonna do this? And then magically
Where did
in a
persistence
month,
come from?
VRChat's like,
Oh,
oh
wait.
yeah, this is out. Persistence
Yeah,
is one
this
of
is
those,
out. Yeah, persistence is one of those. VRChat now actually has a custom character controller. We were talking about our world has like end new movement, which is a custom animation controller for the IK. That's now an official VRChat thing, which is cool. So it's like the gods are listening to us slowly, but they are listening. So we do. Okay, we also have some members who are in the closed beta test for VRChat, so they get to come to us and tell us like, hey, you know that thing you're working on, and we're like, yeah. They'll let us know little snippets of like information from the closed beta. Because I'm not in the closed beta live now, but some of our team members are. They'll come to us and they'll be like, you need to prepare for an asteroid that's about to hit you. And we're like, thanks. And then we'll run off and be like, oh no, what are we going to do live? But like, it's usually like much easier to do now. So yeah.
Oh. Oh, so now what is your favorite update and some of the things you've seen in terms of like in-world updates that you've worked with?
Oh, my favorite update for the world is so I love when I get asked this question because people seem to think that we've not updated the world since 1.5 because we've been developing 1.6 for 2 years. But what they don't realize is we've actually done a lot of updates in the 2 years. Mini events every time we run like a Valentine's event or a Christmas event or a Halloween event, and events in between, like we've just done a Project Fest. No, community. Oh, I've messed their name up. I'm sorry, Wolfie Weeps. Um, we did an event with them, and we'll update the world to add in like some advertisement for them. VCat, Lun, and Shadow Sensei, we did like a portal for them. So people see us add like this random thing, and they're like, "Why did they just add this portal in?" But what they don't realize is we've also added 90 other fixes with that portal. So you just see this fancy portal, but there's actually a lot of fixes that went into the world at the same time that update the world and stuff, and we do content. Specifically for me, though, for one of our seasonal events, which I kind of do want to update and bring back a little bit more, was our Halloween event. For some reason, I don't know why, we have this obsession with Minecraft. we had hero. We had Hero Brian in the forest, and there was like lots of mist, but only you could see him. So as you're walking around the forest for Halloween, doing like Halloween pumpkins and stuff, Hero Brian would randomly appear to you. So for the first few days, no one knew about this, and your friend would turn around to you and go, "I just saw Hero Brian," and when you'd look over, you'd go, "You wouldn't see him, but your friend would see him." And he'd be going, "He's real! I swear, just like the One Piece, he exists." And it's like, you're crazy. There's nothing there. And then you'd walk around, and he would teleport around as well. So people were like getting freaked out. They're like, "There's a Hero Brian in the world," and like the dev team was like, "There's no Hero Brian. It's all made up. It's all in your head. It doesn't exist." But that's my favorite update, is to play with the players and stuff, because we have like lots of fun little Easter eggs in the world. There's a Osu reference in one of the houses. There's a picture of the creator of Osu, and one of the songs play. And again, like the players come up to me going, "Do you have Osu in the world?" I'm like, "Osu? No, there's no posters in the world. What are you're crazy." And we just do that a lot. We'll put like little references to like games and stuff, and people are like, "Did they add a Pikachu?" No, it doesn't exist. You're crazy. So yeah, it's like the Halloween start off my favorite one because I get to play with the player base and wind them up.
Oh,
Yeah.
So how many holiday updates did you guys do with the world? Since you've got mentioned a few times between Christmas and Halloween, how many have there been?
We do all the major
twice, right?
events basically twice. Yeah, we've ran them twice now. We seem to improve them every year as well. So we do Valentine's, we do New Year, we do Halloween, and then we do Christmas basically. We do a summer event. We have a guy who was on the team. His name's Renakami. So some of the staff team members, like we have a guy called Peak Boat. Because it's fall, we're actually planning to do a fall ball. So every season, Peak he's one of our world creators and works on the world design team. He'll create like a separate world, so it's a little bit more optimized, so you can get like more people in. I'll reach out to like DJs and like event people in VRChat, like Corbal. I'm terrible with people's names. Kerbal, they're a music guy for VCat. I'll reach out to people and be like, hey, could I get do you know someone who's free tonight? And then we'll put on like events in between like the updates and stuff to keep the community like going and stuff like that. So we're planning a fall ball at the moment. I'm not sure because of 1.6 is so close and it takes a lot of work to get it out the door. We haven't spoke about Halloween this year yet, whether we're going to turn it on and stuff, because 1.5, the world at the moment, the way we have the world set up, there's two worlds. We're in the Patreon world and this is the test world. And then we have the 1.5.1 world, which is public. And that's on a very old build, which does get updated maintenance-wise, but hasn't been updated content-wise. And you are the only person I think that can actually update that world in the team. So...
Well, I'm not the only one that can update the world. I'm the only one that usually updates the world. Yeah. But we do little maintenance on the 1.5 world. Yeah, every now and then I usually am aware of like the bugs that are going around in 1.5, even though it hasn't been updated in a while. Every now and then something comes up, something's buggy, something's not working. Or VRChat releases an update and need to fix something. So I think one of the most problematic things which you guys already experienced is the anti-cheat. So we have a semi-working anti-cheat. Sometimes it has false positives. But yeah, so the anti-cheat is supposed to make you not cheat. I think it's slowly been getting better. There's still some ways to bypass this, and I need to work on it. But with VRChat updates, the anti-cheat has broken a couple of times, so I need to go back and fix it. Even though if it's in the 1.5 branch, if there's something that I know how to fix very easily, I can just backport the new code from the 1.6 world to the 1.5 world, and that's also something that we've slowly been learning how to do. So as a studio, we've learned how to keep things organized, keep things accessible and like searchable, so that we can easily go back, fix things, or like backport code, or work on this so that the other person can also access it. So we have a pretty good workflow in the team actually, and I believe it's pretty on par or even better than some other indie studios. Not to say that it's other indie studios are doing it bad. I'm just saying that we have a pretty good team, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We have a very family oriented team because we're more friends, stuff like that. We're not perfect though. We aren't like perfect sunshine and rainbows. We've learned a lot over the last 2 years and stuff. We've had some members come and go. Like in a normal studio, people join. Like again, like we don't have the original founder, Zertax. He's now gone off to make his own VRChat world. We're still friends. He still pops in. He talks to us all the time and stuff like that, and checks in on the project and that. But he has now gone off and made a Gauntlet, I think it's called. I might have got that wrong. But it's basically chivalry medieval warfare in VRChat, and he wants to like move away from SAO, because once you've done something for 4 years or so, you tend to get bored of that and you want to move to other projects. So he's moved on to other projects. We've got other people who've come and gone and moved on to other projects. A big thing that we have a problem with in the team, which I think every team has, is miscommunication. So sometimes the managers don't speak to like this floor staff. Sometimes the floor staff don't speak to each other and stuff, so we have a lot of like miscommunication issues in our team, which I've kind of addressed now. Mostly we do meetings. We have a meeting at the beginning of the month where we try to get everyone in and discuss the project of, like, we were talking earlier on about those contracts. We'll get everyone back in at the beginning of the month and say, like, hey, how's that Kirito sandwich going? Are you still cooking it? And they might go, yeah, but I'm just trying to get the mayonnaise right, and I'll give it to you at the end of the month. And I'll be like, cool. Then we'll all come back at the end of the month, same thing again, get everyone in. Have you now made Kirito sandwich? And they'll be like, yep, I burnt the bacon and it's broken. And it's like, okay. So then we try to like do 2 meetings a month to boost communication. Most of the managers now have been more active and stuff. Every Friday we do a QA session where we jump into a VC, get everyone together, test the world, check for bugs and stuff, and then like do more stuff now. So we're getting better and better. Each year we seem to be getting stronger and better. And as VRChat updates and gives us more features to make things easier, we seem to be getting better as a team as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I had a question, Lion.
Shoot.
I had a question. On the creation of the characters that are here and the things that you have to fight, because I noticed there's some outside. I didn't wander that far because I want to get too lost. Boy, I almost got stuck in a corner and couldn't figure out how to get the hell out. How do you guys come up with the creatures and the characters that you use and the names for those characters? Because I know you guys try to do stuff that's just a little bit different, so it's not following the same line as what the game system. It's still running like the game, but everybody wants to put their own little pizzazz into it. How do you guys come up with that kind of stuff?
Right, so that's kind of an awkward. So we try, because it's VRChat and Unity and stuff, we can't create a 1-to-1 scale of Sword Art Online. We'd love to, but we try to create as close as possible to Sword Art Online. One of the requirements to joining the team is you actually have to read the light novels. Most of the team actually are rereading the light novels. Some of us tend to like rewatch the anime. Some of us have even watched the anime and stuff. But we sort of use the light novels as reference material. So if it's in the light novel, we will try to like recreate it as close and best as possible. So we also use the video games as references. So Bandai Namco make a lot of Sword Art Online games. One of their games is coming out soon, which helped me redo the Mushrooms. Actually, they bring out a new game called Fractured Daydream. For the last 2 years, we have these like mushroom plimps around the world, and I could not find any references of what they looked like, other than like these like tornado things with like cities on the top. The new game came out, and I was able to use that as reference to go to one of our 3D modelers and say, hey, in the video game, they actually look like this. Can you like copy that as close as possible? And Iodine has done an amazing job at kind of getting it very like close 1-to-1 scale. The goal for 1.6 when that comes out in November is we don't want to use anything taken from a video game. Everything we're trying to do is made by us, so that any legal issues that happen, we can sort of turn around and go, okay, we can no longer be Sword Art Online, but we can still be Project Aincrad because we made the mobs ourselves, we made the code ourselves, we designed everything ourselves. We just wouldn't be able to use Sword Art Online and stuff like that. So we tend to look at the monsters, the characters, the setting and stuff, and try to make it as exact as possible, but with the option to like, if we ever needed to like go standalone or whatever or change, we could still keep it up in VRChat. That doesn't get VRChat in trouble and ourselves. So yeah. Don't know if you want to say more on that.
Yeah, so this has been slowly changing over time, but in general, for the past few years, the kind of like the golden rule of this project is that we want to recreate Sword Art Online as it was depicted in the light novels and in the anime. So we actually have a suggestions board on our Discord, and the pin post and the guidelines say anything that's in the light novels or the anime or the source material is already planned. You do not have to suggest it. We're probably gonna change
Though people
that
still
very
do.
soon. But yeah,
People
people
still
still
make
suggest whatever because
suggestions.
they don't read.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Oh,
But in
don't
general,
worry.
yeah, we want to stick to the source material. So anything that's shown in the anime, that's kind of like the easiest reference we have to implement into Project Aincrad, because we know how it looks, we know how it functions, we know that the trading window looks like this, so we just make that here. Some things we have no idea how they look, we have no idea how they work, so we have to take liberty there, creative liberty. We take our design department, and they cook. They go ahead and do, okay, this should
They
be like
do a
this and
lot.
this and this, and it will connect with these other systems, and it will work like this. And then I take that and the rest of the programmers, and we start working with that, and so on and so forth. And along with the 3D modelers and the 2D texture artists and the sprites makers and stuff like that. So it's a whole workflow. It mostly starts with an idea, and then it takes to design, and then it actually starts the development workflow.
Oh wow.
One of the biggest challenges I would actually say with your question is like the boars, the creatures, how do we get them to design like they look like? We have a plant creature. If we don't get something exactly right that wasn't in Sword Art Online, our community and the internet are ruthless with their
Oh, I bet.
comments.
Oh, fuck.
They
What the hell? That's not what that's supposed to be. Well, sorry, we can't go straight that way. We got to play it the other way. I can understand that, but I understand, you know, if anybody that's played D&D, you guys will probably play D&D. You got a basic outline. I don't give a shit what it is. You got I tell people when they play D&D, it's a basic general knowledge to give you a guide. You got to use what's up here to go beyond the guide. And that's what makes D&D D&D. You just can't go boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you got the boom, boom, boom. But you got to work outside the box. And that makes people think. And you guys are doing the same thing. Just like D&D, you got to think outside the box. And I got that. But where I get at is want to know is, where do you guys come up with the names of the people and the things that you got? I can imagine you guys are all there. You got what you say, 40 some people there. And somebody comes up, well, let's call this guy Billy. Huh? Does he look like a Billy? No, he doesn't look like a Billy. And then secondly, it's a female, so it's got to be a Brittany. How did you get the idea for Brittany? That's what I'm getting at. That kind of stuff. How do you guys work that out?
That is basically what you've just done there. Is kind of exactly how we work it out and stuff. Very much like normally in the industry. I actually had this conversation last night with one of the programmers, Fizz, because we have a class system for our weapons. We have tier 5, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And I said to him, how do you work out what is a tier 5 weapon? And he went, if it looks cool. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just nice and shiny. It's got to be a 6, right? What do you think? A 6? 6? No, dumbass. It looks like a 4 to me. I don't want to be a 6. Yeah, I can see you guys fight. I can understand.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it than that, but yeah, there's a lot more,
it's obviously
stats and stuff like that. Is it weapon or what type of class it is? We have bronze, iron, anneal, and different special class weapons. So there is some do actually fit in, but then there's some that just looks cool, and it's like, this is like a 5. So yeah, it's the same with the NPCs as well. So for the humanoid characters in the world, the shops, we tend to come up with names on the fly. Usually, it's not a rule per se, but we let the world designers, because they have to have some sort of freedom of creativity, otherwise they'll go bored and nuts. We tend to let them name the NPCs, except for the mobs, because the enemies, they're set in stone. Everyone who's watched Sword Art Online or read the novels, they know a dragon dog is called a dragon dog. So if you change that name, 10,000 people are going to come after me with pitchforks. So if I change Kirito to something else, someone's going to come after me and be like, you've changed Kirito's name! Ah! But like, if I have Sandy, the butcher girl at the butcher shop, no one's going to care about that. So we have like creative freedom there, where we can like create the NPC names and the looks and stuff how we want them to be. versus say like Ilfang, the floor boss character. He has to be called Ilfang because everyone knows him as that. So we don't have creative freedom there. There's two answers I tend to give people is I try to run the project in two ways. I try to think like I am Reki Karahawa, the creator of Sword Art Online, and I ask myself, what would he do? Would this please him? And if it's something that I think the license holders would do, we will do it. If it's something that I don't think the license holders would like us to do, and it goes against the canon and the law, we won't do it because we know that that will upset the fans. So we don't tend to have a lot of freedom. We tend to follow like a strict guideline of if this pleases the fans and it's what the fans want because it's in the series, we'll do that. If we try to do something and we know this is not going to please the fans, and it'll please us because we think it's cool to have a unicorn running around, but there's no unicorns in SAO, so you've just pissed off 10,000 people. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So,
Remind me never to join your group. Remind me never to join your group for names, because I'd have it so screwed up. People would wonder what the hell.
Yeah.
I do have a
I
question.
think also on the stuff about names. Oh, sorry.
No, you continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So about the names, and I think in general anything related to world design, including the names of the NPCs, the mobs, as Savvy was saying, those are set in stone. But with the NPCs, it's all about telling a story. So the story about this world or the story about this floor. So the world designers, as we speak, probably have been thinking about like quest lines, and like if you go to this NPC, he looks a little sad. He'll be like, "Oh, I need some help with getting some herbs and collecting some stuff." So he'll give you a quest about that, and then you go do that, and then you come back, and he'll be like, "Oh, thank you so much," and he'll tell you to go somewhere else and continue this quest line and go talk to this other NPC and so on and so forth. This is pretty much like storytelling, but it's dynamic because you're part of the story, right? So world design is pretty much all about that, just like telling the story of the world and maybe tying up different quest lines. And you can, if you pay attention to the quest line and you don't skip the dialogue, you'll probably find something very interesting about the world and about everything. So the world designers are really passionate about that, and I really admire that about the world design team. I'm a programmer, so I I don't really get to do that. I mostly just like see that the world designers need something, and then I just go code that and put them so that they can use it. So we have a lot of tools so that the world designers can come up with, or not come up with, but they come up with something and then they ask us programmers how they can implement it. We do that, and then they can come along and play with the world and add the things that they want to add and add the interactability and everything that makes this world come alive, pretty much. And
we do like to get involved with community memes though as well. So some of the NPCs
true,
are
yeah.
named after certain community members or community memes and jokes and stuff. You won't find a skibbity toilet or anything like that crazy, but like there might be a funny little meme in the community, and we're like, next update, shove that in, and then like the players get to the next update, and they're like, oh my god, the devs listen to us. This NPC is called like Flowerhead or something, and it might just be like something stupid like that, or crab and stuff like that. So yeah, we tend to like try to keep the community engaged with us by like playing to them a little bit, but also sticking to like we have guidelines and stuff. So
Yeah. So in the end, we pretty much just want to we want to tell the story of Sword Art Online as if it was a real thing, We don't want to tell the story of the Sword Art Online light novel, because that's Kirito's story, that's Asuna's story. They beat the game at floor 75, and that's how it was. We are stuck on floor 1 at the moment, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Are we going to go past floor 75? We're not sure. We're probably going to do that, but we don't know at the moment. We're working on floor 1 at the moment. So if we were strictly speaking,
we're more doing the game as an actual MMO rather than a story type of thing. So it's more like you're fed up of sitting in the sunset bar for 10 hours listening to Skibbity Toilet songs. Come here and swing a sword at a boar, basically. So it's your story, how you want to progress and stuff. Like, we're more making the gameplay mechanics of what Sword Art Online is than like the actual story of Sword Art Online. So we're focused on the technology side of it, like how did the quest system work, how did the trade work, how did the criminal system work, how did the housing system work and stuff. So that's where I think you're getting at, isn't it? Yeah. So.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, so, in the end, we want to make Project Aincrad its own thing, obviously, but it's all based on what happened in Sword Art Online and the systems depicted in that story, right? And so slowly we've been making progress, but of course, strictly speaking, Sword Art Online had 100 floors, and we are stuck in floor 1. So you could say that we're 1% of the whole way there.
Yeah.
How possible is it
You had a
to?
It's gonna
question.
take a long time.
How possible is it to do all of Aincrad in VRChat as its own thing here? Is it something, or does it be separate the worlds if you get that far? How do you think that would work here?
Yes, it is. It is possible. So unfortunately, you couldn't have it all in one world because of quest limitations. I think we're already up to 79 megabytes for quest. Quest has a 100 meg limit. Please update the world limit. You can give us more VRChat. 125 megabytes is not much. But yeah, we're at 78, so we couldn't put all 100 floors in one world. We are planning to, when we get to floor 2, it will be a separate world. Now, our save system differs from VRChat's persistence system. We actually have cross-world saving with our avatar data system. It's really hacky. It's a really bad way to do it. Persistence, hopefully, is the way forward. But we have the ability to have your player data right now. You can take that to another world and it will load up that same data and stuff, and then you can carry on playing. So the idea is, once we've completed floor 1, all the systems, all the functions, the foundation of the code base, we can then start working on the other floors as separate worlds. And when you go to the other floors, we've already talked about having like a warning system. Because of VRChat's TOS, we're not allowed to ban you from worlds. You can't have blacklists and stuff like that, and we can't stop you from joining a world. Not like we would anyway, because we want you to explore these worlds and stuff. But there'll be like a little warning that says, "Hey, we've done a little scan and we can tell that you don't have a save system and you haven't played floor 1. We recommend you go back to floor 1, clear that with your friends, and then come back. But if you have done floor 1, you've played floor 1, you've got your save system, you beat the boss, you'll be able to load that save system up in another world. We've already tested this, and it just loads basically, and you can go off into that world and play. So we're planning to complete floor 1, get its systems all polished up, get it all working, the FPS increased and stuff like that, and then start building the other floors based on what the reference material says. So once we've got the foundation of this world done, we can then use that to like build the other worlds and stuff. Yeah. Don't know if you want to say anything on that. No.
Oh, you said it pretty well. I think I'd just
much,
add that once we get to having a floor 2 or floor 3, etc., there's probably going to be some way of actually transitioning between worlds. So VRChat persistence is very close. I think an open beta is to be released soon. And persistence is awesome because we're not going to have to deal with our current save system, which is made by Nessie. He's a great programmer that makes awesome VRChat stuff. So we use his system to save your player data, like your inventory, your health, your XP, your level, etc. So anything that's related to your player specifically. Once we get to making floor 2, it's gonna be a little funny because we're obviously gonna be transitioning to VRChat persistence and no longer use the NU save state, which is our save system. And it's gonna be a little interesting because VRChat persistence has been announced to not support cross-world data saving and loading. So if you join floor 1, you're only gonna be able to save and load data from that floor 1 world. If you go to floor 2, the floor 1 data, it's not going to be accessible. So we're probably,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, until VRChat makes some persistent changes,
Sticking
we're
with
going to
our
have
own
to
system.
still rely on
Yeah.
any safe state to you join the world, it loads your data from VRChat persistence, and then if you want to transition to floor 2, it's going to take that persistence data, put it in our NU safe state system, and then hop onto floor 2, load the data from NU safe state, and then save it back to your VRChat persistence, but on floor 2. So it's going to be a complicated system, but it's kind of how it's going to have to work, unless VRChat allows us to do cross-world persistence saving and loading.
A little band-aid, little band-aid fixes that we do, and we tend to do that a lot with VRChat systems. Actually, we'll like find little loopholes where we can be like, oh well, VRChat doesn't allow us to do this. We'll just make a system that does and stuff. Similar to like some of our editor tools that like Live makes and some of the team makes. We have like in Unity, if you're a world creator and you have two different like scenes, normally you have to swap between the scenes and stuff. But we actually have a scene builder tool that allows you to do this automatically. Like you can like build all the scenes together basically and go through them. Because we usually tend to create our own editor tools that VRChat don't support. Yeah. You made the scene builder tool, I think.
Oh, Boku made the scene builder. I helped with a little few things here and there. But yeah, we have a lot of way too many tools on the Unity editor part because so like Savvy was saying, VRChat has a lot of limits, and usually it's hard to work with those limits. So something that actually like saying to other VRChat programmers that have a tendency to like go very near those limits, VRChat limits, is try to just work without those limits. So if you're working in Unity, you usually can just work with C#. So skip the Udon sharp part, just work directly with C#, and then kind of like bake that data into an Udon program or Udon sharp program. So we actually try to work as much with C# as we can. So we actually do use a lot of Unity features that have nothing to do with VRChat, but then everything of all of that data is like exported into prefabs that are Udon sharp, and those are the ones that get pushed into the world. So one of the tools that we have that is actually related to what Savvy was saying with the weapons is we have our item editor or creative system. So we have a very nice window with the list of every single item in the world. It has the IDs, the proportions, the model, the textures, all of the weapon data that you can like change and modify and export. This is our certified math guy related to combat system. So he's the one that messes with that stuff. But we have this really nice tool that anyone in the team can go and look at the data values for every weapon, change it if they need to be changed or tweaked, and then press one button and everything has been exported into prefabs and everything is now set up correctly with Udon sharp. So it's very so it's something that we've learned to do because this is like a kind of like a new thing. A world this big hasn't been made in VRChat. There are some very impressive worlds in VRChat, I gotta say, but I don't believe there's a game of this size or this
I don't think VRChat was
eventual
thinking,
size.
the dev team was thinking we were going to do something like that. In fairness to VRChat's team, most people come here to chill out, e-date, go on weird things that they do and stuff. I don't think anyone thought, let's make an MMO inside of a social platform. That sounds like a really good idea. I don't think the team thought of this when they were making VRChat. So yeah, but it's just cool that we can do this because there's like again, there's other game worlds out there. There's like zombie survival. Meta 4. There's some crazy worlds that like push the limits of VRChat. District 8, I think it's called, or 7. So yeah, so it's not all VRChat's fault. We just like tend to like make our own tools anyway, because we need that anyway. So yeah.
I've got a lot of questions, and it's going to seem a little layered, so I'm sorry ahead of time, but I'm really good at broad and layered questions.
No.
But How do some of the systems like
No.
inventory and the duel system here work within the whole thing? And what kind of tools in the back of house do you use that stock, and what have you created yourselves in order to make things like what's in here works?
So you're the inventory guy. I'll let you answer that, and then the duel system, I'll tend to answer. It's a little short, that one. So the dueling system, we have a PvP system. When soon as you go outside the gate, you are immediately in the PvP combat zone. Thiz is not here, and I know he's screaming watching this saying, "Don't talk about combat, you know nothing," because he gets very technical. We'll probably get him on your show at some point.
Amazing.
Because he
Oh,
can
wow.
speak for hours on the
Mhm.
combat system. He's great. We have Edge, so we decided to do something that like a lot of other like communities don't do. You have like the Warhammer community in VRChat, there's the Star Wars community, and they all use avatar-based combat. So for anyone watching, we're not a role-play community; it's an actual video game world. So the weapon that you buy from the store that actually does do damage. So like most like communities like Warhammer and Star Wars, they have their avatars do the combat damage system. We actually have physical in-world combat based on edge alignments, and each weapon has their own stats. They have their own values and stuff. You could probably talk a little bit more about that. But the way we do the dueling system at the moment, we don't have a criminal system yet, and that's something that we are like I am personally looking into a lot because we tend to have a very toxic community. I'm not going to hide it. We have a very toxic childish community because most people who watch Sword Art Online are ages 10 to maybe 15. You give a 15-year-old a sword and tell him he can stab someone in VR chat, they are going to do that. It doesn't matter if you brought your girlfriend to this world to have a date night, he's going to mess that date night up for you. So the moment you go out that gate, it's you need to be really careful because like you're in the PvP zone, and you can just be attacked at any time. And that's what it was like in Sword Art Online. You had Laughing Coffin, not the Crasher group, the actual like anime group, and they would just go around killing players basically for fun. That was their whole thing. We have that here. If you want to be an asshole, we do facilitate that. You can run around and stab someone and not ask for their permission.
I don't want to be playing with you because you're going to chase my ass. Thank God you don't have guns in here because I'd be shot at before
I
you got
wouldn't
out the
shoot
gate.
you.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Hold
no.
still. I want to put you on a. I got a fork with your name on it. What's it like to have a rotisserie raptor? Yeah, I see how it is. Yeah, I know how you are,
Rotisserie
buddy.
raptor.
Yeah.
I do like the sound of
Ooh.
that.
See, I told you. Yeah, it was there. Yeah.
That's only a
It's in the
VTuber
background,
thing.
folks. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, guns soon though. GTO next maybe. But yeah, so the dueling system has actually formed like its own community here. Kind of like the VRChat boxing community. If you've been to like the VRChat boxing world and stuff, that has its own community and stuff. So the community of players have formed guilds, and they started doing this thing where they claim land in this world themselves. We don't have like the system for that, but they just decided one day they took a screenshot of the map and they divvied it up into like little parts of the map that they all claim that is theirs, and they have battles over it basically.
Oh.
We don't see that much anymore, but the guild sort of formed and they all like do their own recruitments and stuff, and they do their own tournaments and stuff. I think there's a tournament coming up soon where they all like fight and stuff, to the point where because the community created this dueling culture, we ended up creating a broken coliseum in the world where we allow them to like it's somewhere hidden in the forest, and they can all go there and fight each other and stuff. But most players have formed with VRChat's emoji system. They throw a tomato with the emoji system. That signals the start of a duel, and then they'll start fighting each other basically. So there's sort of like a gentleman code, like, you know, with the old style, like, you know, back-to-back shooting, 10 paces and stuff. So they kind of have a gentleman's code where they'll throw a tomato first with the emoji system, that signals the duel, and then they'll go at it basically to, if they have like their own rules, they'll go to like half health, full health, to the death, stuff like that. And sometimes, because we have 1.6 now in the economy system, there's betting going on as well. Like, you'll hear people like, "I'll bet you like 2 health crystals that Raptor can kick Turtle's ass," and I'll be like, "I'll take that bet. Yeah, sure." So,
Oh
he
boy.
might be old, but he's definitely got it. I'm sure you could take him, Raptor. So.
I ain't gonna do much damage. I'll have to hit him at the ankles and cut his tendon in the back so he doesn't walk.
Yeah. And then, sorry, the item system, if you want to talk a little bit about that, Live, because that's actually your whole system that you made.
Yeah. So, like I was explaining before, a lot of the things that you see on the world have their own tools to be worked with in Unity. So all of them are made by us. So nice editor windows, custom inspectors, everything, stuff like that is developed by us, the programmers of ArgusVRC, and it just makes everything a lot easier. So one of the things that I worked on is a tool called vrFassist. It's a public tool that anyone can download. It's on my GitHub. It essentially lets you via code and on your script set up automated ways to autocomplete a reference to another script. So if you are a programmer, you probably know about something called singletons. And so a singleton is essentially a script that is only once ever in a scene or a world in this case. And so, for example, we have the item manager. That's kind of like the item system. The item manager script is only ever once in this world, and it handles everything to do with the items. And so, naturally, because it's the thing that handles items, every single other system that has a reference or needs to go through the item system needs a reference that points to the item system or the item manager. And so, for example, the trade system has a lot of code that runs through the item system. And so instead of having to, in Unity, have drag and drop the item manager reference to the trade system, we have a tool that's called vrFassist that was originally made for Project Aincrad, but then I decided to like export it and make it its own tool and make it public. Everything is automatically completed, and that also really helps us with our scene builder that Savvy was mentioning. So how the team works is the programming team works on their own scene. It's called the world seed. If you've seen the anime, you kind of know how that works. But we have our own scene. It's pretty much just the programming. We use that to test all of the programming related things. And then anything else, it's on their own separate scene. So the floor 1 scene is kind of like the base scene. It has the terrain. It has the trees, some props that are outside. But then we also have 2 other scenes. One of them is Town of Beginnings. So this city right here is its own scene. And then there's also Tobana, which is the other smaller city over that way. So there's in total 4 scenes at the moment. We're probably gonna making more as we expand the world and add more stuff. But then, so because
There's
every
this tutorial one
scene
that we're
is
adding
separate. Oh yeah, the tutorial as
Yeah.
well. That's something
Yeah.
we've been working on recently. But because everything is in its own scene, if you work with Unity a little bit more, you know that you cannot reference something from another scene. So this is where our tool comes in, because once we use the scene builder to bunch up and combine the 4 scenes that we use, any reference between floor 1 or TOB or Tobana or the world seed is automatically completed by vrFassist. And we actually have like a few debug logs on anytime we do this. And I think we are about at like I think 9,000 singleton references that are automatically completed. So that kind of gives you a scale of how many scripts are in this world. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them point to each other. So if we had to manually drag and drop all of those 9,000 references, it would be very painful and very time consuming. So usually
we'd be here all year
programmers,
and stuff.
yeah, usually
we'd be
programmers
here
would
all year and stuff.
rather spend like 10 times longer to automate a process, but then eventually it makes things easier and faster to just click a button and everything is done for you.
Hmm.
It also allows us with the item system, like the shops and stuff. So, like, you buy your weapon, you have a set price. We have an economy system. Let's say there's a new Sword Art Online movie coming out, and that's based in Aincrad, and that has a new weapon in it, and everyone's like, "Oh, we really want that," and that's on floor 1 specifically. We can now create that weapon really quickly. We find one of our artists and say, "Hey, could you make this specific like model?" And then the item would be in within a week and stuff. Ideally, so like that's how the item system works here. Like it's all like in world, avatar based toggle stuff like that. We have all that and such. Going on about some of the tools that Live's talked about, earlier on I said like occasionally I like to sort of think about like, well, what would Rekihara do and what would Kaiba do? One of Zeratax's original visions for ArgusVRC was he didn't want us to just create Sword Art Online. Originally, ArgusVRC was supposed to be a VRChat multi-gaming group. We wanted to create other games, and some of us do work on other games. Like Live has his Attack on Titan world, and you do work on like other projects. Boku, who will not release it for fear of Nintendo ninjas, has a Mario Kart world, which is a one-to-one. It's actually a really cool Mario Kart world, probably one of the best I've seen in VRChat, but he won't release it because of Nintendo ninjas. And I do like GGO, and we have other people in the team who do different projects and stuff. But one of Kaiba's original goals was, we were talking about the world seed and like all of these tools, is we wanted to eventually create a world seed with like a repo of tools that VR chat creators could come to us and say like, hey, could I get like your day and night cycle tool? Could I get your scene builder tool? And that's something that we're always trying to do, where we can decouple like a tool that we've made that's really cool. If like a new world maker came to us and said, I've been looking in VR chat and I just don't have this answer, you could come to Argus and be like, have you got an answer for that? And if we had the tool, we could give it to you and help out and stuff, because that's something that we're very big on, is helping out new creators and other creators with stuff, with our tools and such.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing and an awesome thing you and your team are doing. I remember I've had a few private conversations with people who've been around a while, and there was a point where VRChat's creator community was very closed off with their tools, and I've noticed very recently they're not so much.
Yeah, so 2017, if you wanted to make a world, so I think I'm showing my age here, people. I'm sorry. I think I'm one of the only people in VRChat that will remember this, and if you do remember this, you are as old as me. So when you used to create not so much an avatar, but a world, and if Tupper you are watching, you'll be like, oh my god, you are old. You used to actually have to submit your world to their Discord server, and VRChat would upload that world for you. I still have one of these worlds on my account. Where we have an SDK now. The world is much nicer, and like peace and balance has been brought to the universe. But back then, you actually had to make the world, submit it for review. They would review your world and upload it onto your account and give you like a flag that says, yes, we trust you enough to upload your worlds and stuff. To find out how to do that, though, I had to go on a quest for King Arthur. He sent me for a sword. Once I found the sword, I would then have to go look for a wizard who could decipher the runes, because it was all black magic. Nobody would tell you where this wizard was. When you did find this wizard, he would give you like 7 challenges just to get told. You download Unity off the Unity website. No one would tell you that back in 2017. If you knew a world designer or someone who made worlds, it was like the mini celebrity arc of VRChat. Now it's a lot more open, and it's like, oh, you just go to VRChat and download Creator Companion. But we still have that very closed off mentality in VRChat of, I've made this world and it's all mine, and you can't know how I like put a toggle on that door to open the door, even though it's in the Unity package. You're not going to tell you. We're very much not like that at Argus. If we have the answers, we'll give it to you. we're very, very open about that. Like a lot of our developers, Thiz is really open. Like if someone says to him, how does the combat system works, he will have you there for like 2 weeks telling you exactly how the combat system works. Same with like Boku and stuff. So yeah. So yeah.
I think it's a really awesome thing that a lot more world builders are doing that recently. I've even seen, like, I want to give a shout out to there's a group or community that's kind of developing a company that also, his whole thing is to building tools for VRChat and like commissions of things of that sort. Like, would you do Hash Studios?
Yeah.
As an example.
Hash Studios is amazing. Yeah, their booth page and stuff, and they have like their little panel, in-world panel and stuff. So that's a perfect example. Hash Studios is amazing because like you can go and buy their tools and just drag and drop it in, and they will also support you on stuff like that. So if you were to like do that like a couple of years ago and you would buy their tool, the creator would just be like, do you not know how to program? You shouldn't be buying my tool if you don't know how to go and like mail in the wizard. He will teach you how Udon works. I'd be like, oh, you're just not going to tell me like 2 things and stuff. It's like, yeah, no. So yeah.
Oh.
But VRChat's gotten so much better now. So yeah.
I have another question for you as well. That's involved with your project. How are there any quest lines, and how would one interact with the world and story of what you're building now to like get coins and then buy items? How would you like go through that aspect of Aincrad, your project?
You wanna hit up the arcade after this?
We've kind of played every arcade game like a million times.
Yeah.
What about the record store?
They didn't get anything new in this week.
Seems like there's like nothing to do.
Hey kids, heard you all need a little bit of fun in your lives.
What the hell are you?
Oh, I'm Letty, and I'm here to show you two improv.
Improv? Isn't that for nerds?
Listen, you and you are both here in VRChat. That makes you and you nerds. So, allow me to take you all to Skits and Bits Improv.
Oh God! What the hell just happened?
Welcome to Skits and Bits Improv, a fun, welcoming, and creative community, all surrounded about the basis of improv.
Hey Robert, I've heard you're bored of the soup.
Yes, and actually, oh my God, this is so much soup. Jesus Christ!
Whoa.
I'm not ever gonna get used to that.
I'm gonna be sick.
And we host improv workshops available to all skill levels every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So come join us.
Lottie, you can't be just teleporting and ruining the scene like that.
Oh, don't worry, I got that covered. Allow me. No.
What the hell was that?
This is where we host our shows every last Saturday of each month, 6 p.m. Eastern. Check out how we perform.
You have to stop doing that!
Change!
You have to keep doing that?
And we produce our own short films, sketches, and skits.
Wait, what the hell's a skit?
All right. We're in a skit right now. That's right. So, come and join us, everyone. But do note that this group is meant for ages 18 years or older. So y'all little kids, get out of here, go, bye, sayonara, go, bye. So, what do you think about joining us for improv?
You know, the existential dread of teleportation isn't really all that horrible.
Join us for improv today. Skits and Bits.
So that is literally what our next update is physically all about. At the heart and soul of it is the leveling system and quest lines and stuff. So when you join Aincrad, we are working on it at the moment. I mentioned the tutorial system, which is hopefully going to be optional. with persistence and stuff. But the idea is, if you've never played Aincrad before, you've never been here, we're going to have a tutorial that you can briefly run through, and that will actually show you how the quest lines works and stuff. So you go up to an NPC. We have a very interactive dialogue system at the moment where you can choose your multiple options to talk to the NPC. If you choose the right options for some of them, you might unlock some secret quests. Some of them are very plain. You just talk to them and they say like, "Hey, I need apples. Go to the apple shop." But we have that in the world already. Some of the storylines are very intricate and complex, and I just want to apologize to the community who played the open beta. We had a flower quest, which we thought was very simple. It turned out that flower quest was really hard and complicated because, like, when you walked up to the NPC, they would give you a little bit of a story about what they needed. You had to go through the story and figure it out, but in giving you the story, they were also trying to give you the location of where this flower was. Once you got the quest, a quest window would pop up and you could choose to accept or decline it. And each quest has different like rewards, different things. So you could get money, you could get items, you could get XP and stuff like that for doing them. Some of them are repeatable, some of them you can only do once. This specific one was really hard because the NPC gave you the very wrong location to go to. So people were spending 4 hours running around the world looking for this white flower in this one location because they didn't read the quest properly and it wasn't quite set up. And then eventually the community, and this is why I love my community this community so much, is they all banded together and started to help each other out. So if someone was stuck on the quest, people would come online, take time out of their day and say, I've done that quest, I'll take you along and do it with you and stuff. And that's something that's really cool in VRChat, and especially in Aincrad, that you just don't get in other games, where you can physically go off and like do a quest with someone, and then you might end up in like a PvP battle, you might end up fighting the mobs and stuff. But yeah, most of the NPC systems for 1.6 are very intricate, where you actually have to choose the options that you want to get a quest.
Okay.
And then we have the node system as well. Yeah.
The node system. Oh.
So the node system is it's actually your baby, but it's really cool. So we have in-world interactive like items that you can click on. So there might be some plants, there might be some rocks, apples, trees, and stuff. So if you don't want to do a quest, you can just walk up to like a flower, pick up like say 10 flowers, go to one of the shops and just sell that. So if you don't want to like be a part of PvP, maybe you're like, you know, a little shy and you don't want to fight other players, you just want to come and chill out in the world and collect money. We've tried to make the world accessible for all types of VRChat players, because that's an interesting thing that we've learned as a studio and a group here for VRChat. Making a video game specifically on SAO here in VRChat with the doesn't quite work because the player base is different. So we've had to cater to the mentality of VRChat players versus normal video game players. And I know that sounds weird, but there's a big difference between a VRChat player and someone who plays Call of Duty or World of Warcraft. There's like massive differences because we're in VR and it's social versus I have a goal in like World of Warcraft. I need to like go and do this. But yeah, you can earn various money in the world to like buy items and stuff. And then again, if you don't want to do the combat side, you can just like keep earning the money and stuff and interacting with your friends.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh. How does on the back end? How does the node system work, Mask? Ooh, camera. Sure.
We'll have to throw that over to you.
A quick disclaimer. So anything you see in the world is actually custom made. So usually in VRChat, you would have your pickups. So if you want to have in your own personal world, you have, I don't know, like a fridge with some milk bottles. You can just click the bottle, add a component, do the VRC pickup, and then upload your world, and suddenly you can now grab your milk bottle. Here in Aincrad, we don't use VRC pickups because they limit us how we can use the items, right? So here in Aincrad, we have custom systems for pretty much everything. So the item system, for example, we need to be able to use the items, need to be able to interact with the items. The weapons need to be able to do certain code and calculations to for combat. The trade system also needs to work with the item system, and so everything is interlaced into this worldsy that we call, which is all of the programming. So the node system is one of those systems that's custom made. It uses the properties that I was explaining about the items and custom items in our custom pickup system. And so the node system is pretty much our way of declaring resources for the player base to collect, and those resources will also naturally regenerate. So if a quest line asks you to go pick up certain plants and herbs, it'll tell you in which certain area you need to do that, and then you head off and explore, and then eventually you'll stumble about the specific herb that the quest line was talking about, and you can just pick it up and put it in your inventory, and the system will automatically detect that that herb that you picked up was naturally generated. It wasn't given you by someone, and it also wasn't traded, it wasn't bought, and so the system recognizes that it was collected via the node system, and so then it updates a quest and it says, oh, you found 1 out of 10 of those herbs that you need to collect. And so once you have those 10, you can come back with the NPC and redeem your quest reward. And so pretty much any system that you see is kind of like that. It's all custom, it's all programmed by us. The logic is very intricate, and it needs to tie with everything. It also needs to be networked. And so, for example, one of the things that is work in progress is that the node system is currently all local. So if I go and pick up a herb that I was talking about, you're gonna see that I have a herb in my hand, but you'll also see that the herb is still in the ground. So I kind of just like duplicated the herb because it's not networked to be if I pick it up,
But the
it should
goal for
also disappear from your
1.6 is it'll
client.
be networked. So for 1.6,
Yeah,
like
of
the
course.
goal is we're hoping to network it. That will then also encourage, I know people are going to hate this, PvP, because then let's say like you've got a node system where only 6 herbs spawn, and I've got them all, and you have to wait for them to respawn. You're going to try to defend that place for your friend who's coming so that they can collect the 6 herbs. And so the idea is we're trying to create like an interactive areas where like you might go and be like, right, the quest needs me to get 10 herbs, but this place only like spawns 5. I've collected all 5, but another player's now turned up and they want 5 herbs. What happens? Are you going to be friendly? You're going to be nice? You're going to share stuff like that. So once we get the system like networked and stuff, we're hoping to build these like interactive moments and like really intense moments between players, and stuff. Yeah. And then obviously, if you're a herb trader, you might already have 40 herbs, and you can stand at the gate all day saying like, "Give me 10 coal, and I'll give you like 10 herbs," and you don't need to go off and like do the quest and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
We
And
do
then
note
you really-
that if the quest says you have
Yeah.
to go collect them, you cannot
Yeah.
just buy them. But if the
At
quest
the
says that you
moment,
can just
yeah.
trade in 10 herbs, you
Yeah.
can just like buy them and then trade them, because that's
Yeah.
what the quest is asking for. But it has this very dynamic and customized option system for the entire quest, and the dialogues and everything is set up in a way that the world designers can do whatever they want for their quest. If they specifically want you to go and find the herbs in the ground, they can do that. It doesn't need to be locked to
Given
certain
to you by a
options.
player and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and so this node system is actually kind of like the base system for what eventually is going to be the complete node system. So eventually we want to be able to do different types of gathering or collecting resources. So maybe eventually we have to go and mine certain ores like iron or rocks or whatever. So you would of course need to have a pickaxe or some sort of tool to dig at the rock. You'd have to go find a place where this rock is gatherable or collectible or mineable. And so the current node system that is being worked on, or that I'm working on, is actually being programmed in a way that is kind of like generic and expandable and scalable, so that eventually, when we want to implement or have time to implement the rocks to be able to be mineable and have this other tool that is a pickaxe, for example, you'll be able to do
Getting
that,
the
and it's
game
all
into
going to be synced
Minecraft.
because
Mini Minecraft.
Minecraft and Project Aincrad. Yeah. But yeah, eventually this node system's gonna be the so the reason why we don't call it the gatherable system or the herb systems to collect the herbs is because eventually it's gonna be expanded upon and scaled into any resource that you want to do. It's all gonna be there. It's gonna be simple to implement, and a lot of the systems actually kind of work like that. We start working with something, we program something, we really do think about what's going to be coming in the future, or what we might need in the future, and so we try to keep that in mind when we're programming, so that stuff is scalable.
Okay. So I have another question that spawned up from your explanation of the inventories and dueling. How does your team navigate draw calls to the server, VRChat servers, with everything going on?
Oh.
Oh wait, for draw calls, do you mean in the graphics sense?
Like what thing happens here gets sent to the VRChat server to say thing happened, and then back to the players in the world. I can only imagine if you have a full instance and then someone does a thing, and then that goes to the server for everyone who's in that instance to do the
That
thing.
is
Oh, the
right.
networking.
Yeah. The networking. Yeah. So at the moment we struggle with that. The goal for 1.6 is to improve like FPS and stuff. We kind of struggle with it. We have solutions to it, and we are implementing them to hopefully after 1.6, and as we keep like improving the world, it'll get better. We can't have 80 players in the instance. So if you've been to like a big DJ event and you've got 80 people in the instance, that's really cool. They're all dancing and they're all enjoying like the DJ and stuff. We can't do that here, basically. If we get to about 40 players in the world, I think the largest we had was 60 players in one instance. And everyone was pretty cool, but everyone had 2 FPS. So it was like, hey, we've got 60 players at 2 FPS.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's.
I think that's an
it's a
issue with
challenge.
any world, really.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Because of how VRChat works, a lot of heavy code is running on every single player related to the IK, the voice, the animations, your avatar. Avatars are also tend to be pretty heavy. So props to those guys who optimize their avatars. But even if so, recently I actually was working on a commission for a client, and he wanted to make a very simple world with some boxes so that every player has a box they can go into, and then it has other stuff, right? But then the idea is to have 30 of those boxes, so 30 players at the same time, and that's about it. That's the entire world. It's just a room with 30 little boxes. And as soon as 30 players, my world that when I joined was at 250 FPS was now suddenly at 50 because of 30 players. The world itself was very lightweight, so unfortunately, no matter how much we optimize this Project Aincrad, we're still going to be limited to the base performance of VRChat. Obviously, I don't think VRChat ever intended for an MMO to be programmed inside VRChat.
Or the large amount of players that we have. Yeah, the large amount of players is pretty...
Yeah. So MMOs should have a lot of players. That's one of the big limitations that we have with VRChat, but we try our best to optimize the world as much as we can. Like Savvy was saying, this world is actually Quest compatible with every single feature that you see on PC. It's also there on Quest. Obviously, the graphics performance
actually one of our main rules
different.
Is
it's
actually one of our main.
The rule is that
our
we're always
main
going to
goal
be Quest compatible.
Has to be Quest compatible. Like no matter what, Project Aincrad will run on Quest. Might not run well on Quest. You might explode and have the true SEO experience.
Crash.
Or crash a lot, but it will run in some form on a Quest. So that was like our number one goal: is this has to run on a Quest. everyone has to be included with that. So yeah, so because of that, we have to do a lot more optimization. We do a lot of LOD culling. Culling is really important for your worlds. Please learn it. It's an amazing skill. I haven't yet, but these scream at me over it because like LODs and stuff really do optimize the world. And just optimized models in total. Like when we first started in 1.4, the world didn't look like this. It was really bad and stuff. And then as we started to take on more 3D modelers who were more knowledgeable about stuff, they were like, "You're doing your models wrong. You're doing your light baking wrong. You're doing this wrong." And then we started to like, each time we do an update with the world, like we go from 1.4 to 1.5 to 1.5.1 to 1.6. We seem to be improving the world a lot more and getting more FPS, getting more draw calls, getting more LOD culling, it's getting better as time goes on. So we tend to like sit down and figure out what is causing the problem, isolate that problem, fix it, and then VRChat themselves as well are doing this in the background as well. VRChat are making the project stable. Udon 2 eventually, apparently it exists in some alternate universe. We might get a hold of it soon. That will speed up coding. With like the likes of persistence that's coming, so that will speed up things. So as VRChat implements stuff, we implement that. So that's how we deal with culling groups and stuff. I will let you in on a secret though, which I was told by a friend of mine. They did do a closed testing of I can't remember the exact number of players that they had in the instance. It was quite a lot. It was more than what VRChat could handle. The rule to be in this closed testing was you had to start in a very excellent avatar, and over time they asked people to swap from excellent to good, from good to medium, from medium to poor to very poor. And they had a large number of people in one instance, and as they went down the avatar, I'm hinting at all you people who have funny particles on your avatars. As they started to go down the avatar rating to very poor, the players like dropped basically. So they had 200 people in an instance, good FPS, moderately good FPS, and everyone could like handle that. As you go down in the avatar rating though, it does affect the world and it affects people around you. So if you're at like an event, make sure you're in a good or an excellent avatar. It does actually affect people. Even if they have you blocked, even if they have your avatar turned off, you're still sending that data and stuff. So being in these excellent avatars means we can have more people in a VR chat world. So that does help on like the world side of things, not just like having a good world and having like an optimized world, but also if the player base is just nice to each other, they are fancy. I mean, like everyone's avatars is lovely. Your avatar is absolutely lovely, Raptor. Yours is amazing. I'm in a very poor avatar, like no critical saying like, oh yeah, you should be in an excellent avatar, but I'm sitting here in like a very poor avatar because it's hard. I really like my toggles and my particles and my POV shading. So it is hard for VRChat to like balance that and for us. So yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So hope that answers that question. So, yeah.
I very much
I was
appreciate
wondering,
that.
were you asking more about? Oh, sorry.
So no, I appreciate it.
Were you asking more about the networking or about the graphics?
Yes.
I didn't really get that.
Okay. So more
Let me
networking.
go a little bit
So
more on the graphics side
why
of
don't you
things.
answer both of those? Yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
Answer
yeah,
both
yeah.
graphics.
So
and then we'll
actually,
do
I think
networking.
networking is a little easier. So like I was saying, custom systems everywhere, everything is custom. So we actually do also have our custom networking system. So in VRChat, regular Udon, if you're working with Udon or Udon Sharp, for networking, you have two options. One is synced variables, and the other one is network events. Network event is pretty much I tell Savvy, the owner of a certain game object, run this code, and it runs it. It's like this piece of code, right? I tell it to call that function, and he's gonna call it because he's the owner of that group or of that game object that has a certain code on it. There's also the other network event, which is send it to everyone, have every single person in the instance run that function, and everyone's going to run it. And then the other option was synced variables. It essentially means that I am LiveDimensions and I'm holding a certain weapon in my hand. So if I pull out this potion here, essentially in my owned player tracker, which is the one that also puts the crystal here, it also handles my health bar, it handles the potion itself. There's a lot that goes into it, but essentially I'm syncing a variable that's telling you two or everyone in the instance that I have a potion in my hand because it's a synced variable that's sent to everyone. There's more that goes to it, but this is kind of limited in terms of like more advanced coding and more things that you want to do. So, oops. We or Boku implemented our own RPC system, which essentially lets us send a very specific event with a payload to a specific client. In the backend, it's actually sent to everyone, but each individual client decides if it's a payload for them, they're going to respond, and if it's not a payload for them, they're going to ignore it. But so we have our own custom networking system that's made specifically for sending things to a specific player. So if you're doing someone, we can't. So we want to be able to know who damaged you and how much and how. So well, actually, this is this combat system, so I can't really tell you exactly how it works. But if I were to like break it down, very simple. If I hit Savvy with a sword, I'm sending him an RPC that's telling him LiveDimensions sent you an RPC, take damage for 10. And so he takes 10 damage locally, and then everything is synced as well, so that I see that he took 10 damage. So networking is pretty complicated, but because of this RPC system, it makes it a lot simpler to implement custom interactions and player-to-player interactions. In terms of graphics, that's a whole different story. It has a lot more to do with optimizations. I think the last time I ran a scan on the scene, because we also have a bunch of tools to help us debug and profile and optimize the world. I believe counting every single mesh, including LODs. So realistically, it should be a little less, but I think it's about 30,000 meshes in the scene. So individual models, obviously not 30,000, but 30,000 instances of those models are in this scene. So it's very heavy. It has a lot of things to it, but we also do manual culling. So you might be able to notice if you go through the hallways of the Town of Beginnings marketplaces or the houses, every single house is accessible and you can see through the window. It has the tables, the chairs, furniture, etc. But if you go a little bit away, it actually turns everything off because you shouldn't be rendering things that you are not usually able to see. Unity has its own built-in occlusion culling system, which is usually works for majority of cases, but then for very specific areas where it's a tight place, there's a hallway, there's like a very slight sliver between the buildings, that's when it starts to not work correctly.
Sorry, I left
And so it's fine. It's fine.
Good.
And so we actually made our own custom culling system where if you enter a trigger, it enables things. If you exit that trigger, if you're far away enough, it disables everything that's inside. And so the world is heavily relying on that and many other tools that just optimize everything. We also heavily rely on LODs, like Savvy was saying, and
we're
a
in
lot
Town
of
Beginnings right
GPU
now. But
instancing
if
as
you were
well.
to, so we have like technically 4 towns. We're still building the 4th town, but we have like 4 towns. So if you we're at the moment we're in Town of Beginnings. There's Tulbana, there's Saronka, and as you go over to the other town, because you're not in Town of Beginnings, you don't need to render it. It's turned off. We try to turn off like a lot of areas because I'm not exactly sure the number of how big Aincrad is. I know it's like 500 by 500. I want to say. I know we're under a K. We're not massive, but we're not small. It takes you about size wise, floor size wise.
I think it's 1 kilometer square.
It is 1 kilometer square, isn't it? Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's it's not very big, but it is big. People are probably like, wait, well, it's like 1 kilometer. That's pretty big. It's not that big. The actual like real floor of Aincrad was 22,000 square kilometers. We're only one, so we're very small. Again, we're not like a full one-to-one scale of SAO, but we're as close as possible as we can get. But yeah, if you go over to the other towns or if you're in an area, you don't need to render these houses. So we have LOD culling, it turns that off for you and stuff. And then that also optimizes. We also have custom shaders, and we are looking for shader artists because it's so hard to make them in VRChat. So we do a lot of shader magic with our weapons to optimize like objects and materials and stuff. But that is where a large amount of time of our development goes to keep things optimized and looking good. Because PBR does not exist on Quest, kind of. You can do it, but it's tricky. So we have to like. There's a lot of things that we have to, because we have to be on a Quest and has to look good on Quest. There's a lot of tools and things that we have to optimize specifically for the Quest to look good and stuff. LODs being one, the shading being the other, and then also the code as well is the big one for you, because you went back and re-cleaned that recently.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the code has changed from 1.5 to 1.6, which is our next update. I believe every single system has been touched in some way or another. So maybe just like one line change or completely reworked. But a lot of things have changed. Udon has gotten a couple of the updates that makes things quite a bit easier to code with. So we've also just gone back, updated code to make it work with the new stuff of Udon, like data lists and data dictionaries. I think also a big thing related to quests or Quest and PC is that one of the tools that we have custom made for the project, I think that one's also on the list that we're going to be eventually publicly releasing, is our cross-platform material switcher that was made by Boku, one of the other co-lead programmer. And essentially, it lets us have a list of our materials. Usually we have every single material you see in the world in that list, and the shader that's going to be used on PC and the shader is going to be used on Quest. So it automatically switches whenever you switch to Android, to build to Android and Unity. It changes all of the materials to use the specified shader. And then when you go back to PC, it's going to change it back to the PC shader. So in PC, we can have a much better shader that looks very fancy and stuff. But then when we switch to Quest, it's going to change it to a Quest compatible shader and also more performant. So probably just a diffuse texture and maybe some other stuff. I haven't really been much lately into the Quest shader. Boku's usually the one that messes with the shader at the moment.
Boku,
So,
yeah.
we do a lot of
Boku's the one that's been
stuff
doing the
between
shading,
changing
so...
from PC to Quest.
All right. So I very much appreciate you explaining all that. I enjoyed learning all of that. I have another question as well that kind of dip back into something you said earlier, which was there seems to be a difference in game development for VR chat or social VR versus regular game development. What is the difference in terms of like what you guys do and the difference between the player base?
Massively. I'll let you give your answer first, and then I'll give a very long-winded answer.
Okay. Well, I honestly think it's not that different. In the end, we're still using Unity, we're still using regular models, we're still using regular or semi-regular shaders. We do have to go out of our way to implement certain things that are limited by VRChat. Coding is one of them. But in terms of like regular development, I actually think VRChat is an excellent way to get into game development because it already has a lot of things that are usually very tedious to set up. Especially if you're looking into VR game development, it is so much easier than going through standalone Unity. So I've been through that process because of other projects, and it is very painful. You have to download a bunch of plugins, look at a bunch of documentation, look at a bunch of tutorials, and then set up certain things that are not automatically set up by the Steam VR plugin or the Oculus SDK, etc., etc., etc. So it's a very manual and tedious process. Obviously, you don't have a lot of limitations. You can do whatever you want. But in VRChat, you can download Unity 2022, import the SDK with the Creator Companion, and that's it. Even as soon as Unity opens, you can click Build World, and you have your own world. Obviously, it doesn't have anything, but you can just drag a model. You can go to Sketchfab, download a house model, download that into Unity, drag it, drop it, and that's it. You got yourself a networked multiplayer and social experience in a matter of minutes. So I think it's an awesome way to get into game development because it puts you straight to what you want to do. You already have the player controller, you already have a way of picking up items and dropping them, and then a multiplayer is already set up. If you want to get into networking, you can also do that because VRChat has networking in Udon. And so it is different because it's not regular C#, it's not regular Unity, but in the end, the base style of making a game, it's kind of similar, very similar, I would say. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have a bit of a different answer to that. Similar, very similar answer and stuff. So I can't go too much into my personal life because of NDAs and stuff, but I do work in the industry, and I've worked at several studios and stuff. As Live just mentioned there, the actual game development side of VRChat, if you have an idea of what you want to prototype in VRChat, you can do that. That is the way we run ArgusVRC. I'll explain ArgusVRC a bit more easier. So we run very much on an indie studio structure. We have different departments, we have different leads, we have different roles, we have structures. So we have like board of directors, we have a managing team, we have departments, and then we have each individual department has their own teams. In those teams, they have strategy meetings, they have task meetings and stuff like that. They have goals and stuff like that that they have to do for the project. That is very similar to what an actual real-world company does. We have a very real-world company structure in terms of how we develop the team and develop the project and develop the product. That doesn't change. You still have to sit down and write up a document for what's called a games design document, your GDD. They probably have different terms and stuff depending where you are, but that is still the same. You still have to sit down and write up, I'm going to create a single player game. The game loop is going to be this. The tools I need are going to be this. So VRChat, from a creative point of view, allows you to do this. If you want to make Call of Duty, you can make Call of Duty. If you want to make Sonic the Hedgehog, you could probably make Sonic the Hedgehog from VRChat. It's very similar to like Roblox and Gary's Mod and stuff like that. So the creative side of VRChat, if you were to tell me 20 years ago this exists, me and Raptor would probably look at you and go, what? I'm going to be able to put a VR headset on and become a video game developer? You are crazy. What drugs have you been smoking? Can I get some? Because it never existed when we were growing up, sort of thing. It was sort of like a pipe dream. When I was talking about Lawnmower Man, it was like science fiction. So having these tools, there's no difference in the creative. Like the way you code, you'd be able to code in VRChat and stuff. So that side of stuff is the same. However, the player base, which is what I hinted on earlier on, I work in a number of communities. I work in quite a lot of communities in VRChat. There's the VCAT community, there's Project Fest, there's the TVRS, there's a couple of club scenes I go to, there's the Warhammer community and stuff like that, and then there's our own community, Project Aincrad. There are different types of players who play VRChat. And VRChat, again, this is where I think VRChat's had problems over the last couple of years developing VRChat. The demographic of players is changing. So you have to adapt your content and your strategy to these players. We get a lot a lot of people who come in the world who've never seen Sword Art Online. They don't know what Project Aincrad is and stuff. They come in here and they just expect the typical VR chat experience, which is you're going to sit in front of a mirror and talk about your sad, depressing life and how you couldn't get that cookie from Starbucks. But we don't have mirrors in here, so you come in here and you're like, "Where's the mirror? What am I doing in here? What is this?"
Mom, I wanted my milk to go with my cookie. Where's the fucking mirror? Not here, bitch.
Exactly.
Wrong world. Try the next one over, please.
Yeah, and now you're gonna have to find a mirror in VR chat and sit for the next 12 hours and be sad about that in full body with your friend. And we've had to learn that that's the type of players that we're attracting. So they're not used to the MMO grindy experience. So normally when they come in, they just want to chill in a world with their friends and watch the sunset and stuff. So we're like, yeah, but you can do quests and stuff. So we've had to balance our gameplay, especially our seasonal events. I was telling you we do the seasonal events. I tend to do the seasonal events and mini events and DJ events and stuff like that based on VRChat's demographic, because I think the age rating fairly well for us. We have ours is a different age rating. Some of our players break the TOS because they I think the youngest player I have on my friends list is 9 years old. The oldest is 22 years old. That's roughly the age gap between our players. So we'll have kids coming in and they're like, "I want to be Kirito," and it's like, "Cool, here's a sword, go kill your friend." But then we'll have the 22-year-old coming in, and he's like, "I just want to chill out and enjoy a philosophical conversation." It's like, "Yeah, there's a park over there, you can go do that." So the differences between these players is massive. You have kids coming in and they really want to relive that sword art experience. They want to play that game, they want to level up, they want to kill boars and stuff. But then you'll have players coming in who are like, "I just want to find friends and chill out and stuff," and they don't want to do gameplay and they just want to play the map and stuff. So trying to balance the gameplay and the development around these players, that's one of the biggest challenges we have as a team, is how do we not alienate everyone but include everyone in a way that they feel like it's worth coming back to this world. And that's one of the challenges we suffer from a lot, is how do you keep these players interested and stuff. And I think that's also what VRChat's had a problem with now, but I'm sure they've solved it because we now have Fortnite skins that we can slap on the walls for VRChat Plus. So yeah, we can run around the black cat and stick skibbity toilet memes. Yeah.
Boy.
All right.
But yeah, no, the development side is not different. Development side, as a video game developer, you can get in avatar content creating, stuff like that. That's really simple. But the mentality of players is different. We have people who come on to do DJ events. You're a content creator, you want to interview people and stuff like that. There's pretty much there's just so many different types of people who play VR chat that's where you have to cater to and be like, right, I'm going to focus on specifically this player base, and if this player base comes into my world and doesn't like it, oh well, you focused on that player base. So that would be one advice that I would say to people, is design your worlds and your projects based on the community that you wish to attract. And if you attract another type of community who come to your world, that's a bonus.
Yeah. I think that's fairly similar to even content creation as well. Even outside everything, the community you attract is based on what you want to build for. And I think a lot of people in VR chat, from the conversation I've had, kind of are learning that lesson slowly, but also some of them learn it really quickly.
Oh yeah, really a lot over the last 10 years of VR chat, watching differently. So you've got the furry hangout. They quickly knew what their demographic was and they catered towards that. You have the Warhammer community, they quickly cater towards that. You have the video game content creators in VR chat, and you have Jar, and I can never pronounce Blackout, and Prison Escape from Option. It begins with a no. I'm sorry, but each person in VRChat. You've got Fear, Frill, Drumsy, yourself, Turtle. Everyone has these like little cliques in VRChat that like jumped on really well and was like, this is the demographic that we need to go with and stuff. But then you'll have some groups who are like the Sunset Bar. You'll have groups in there that are pretending to be bartenders for the night, and then suddenly they realize they're just a gaming community, so they'll go off VRChat and start doing like Minecraft servers or Overwatch or Valorant game nights and stuff, and then they'll come back and stuff. So it's really cool to see like all of these players coming together and doing different things like dance academies, events and stuff, and market selling. So yeah.
Okay.
It just depends on the project that you're after and like who you want to attract.
How do you see things over there live? Do you see things similar? Have you learned similar lessons in your travels here in VRChat?
Yeah, actually, one of the ways I tend to describe VRChat to other people that have no idea what VRChat is VRChat is kind of like YouTube. So YouTube is the platform. The users themselves can become content creators by uploading their own worlds. Uploading their own videos, and they start to create a community. VRChat is kind of similar. Obviously, it's not videos, but the users become creators by uploading their own worlds, their own avatars, and then other people can join them and find about them, and then explore and just create that community. Kind of similar to YouTube. It's not exactly the same, but that's one way of that I've found to describe VRChat and how it works. And like Savvy was saying, it's similar to Roblox or Garry's Mod, where the users themselves are the ones that create the content, and VRChat in and of itself would be nothing without the content creators, the world creators, the avatar creators, and I really like that about VRChat.
Thank you very much. I have another question. I'm sorry for tossing these at you one after the other.
No, keep them coming. Them, yeah.
Will there ever come? Actually, one. What is the coming update that we've kind of heard about bits and pieces throughout the conversation?
Okay.
Then, and will Argus ever grow beyond VRChat? Hello, we're here to interrupt the most interesting thing being said in our current video to ask you a favor, which is, would you mind joining us on any of the socials we have, such as Discord? We're hanging out all the time playing video games, so you can catch us there very frequently. We have I run Twitter for us, which is LionTurtle21 on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It'll always be Twitter. But either way, there's that. We also have a Patreon, which we actually have a whole other show for our Patreon members, which are Aliquum and the newest addition to the bunch, Future Oracle,
Niche, and Forbidden Zero, good friends of ours.
Yeah, thank you very much, you guys, for joining. It means a whole lot that you're there, and hope to see you there as well. We have a whole other show. There are some free ones we have released as well for the audio for you to listen to and to see what it's like. It's like a whole other show as a thank you. With that said, please enjoy the rest of your podcast on YouTube.
Oh, that's two really, really good questions. I'll quickly cover the content update because that's really short to cover in the small amount of breath that I could probably pull in. Right, so 1.6 is our biggest update yet for, I would say, VRChat as a whole. Because I haven't seen any other world that's done something that we've done. So for 1.6, we have a number of content planned. We have leveling systems with progression. We have 2 stats that you can actually upgrade in the menu. We have a map system, a party system, which has been improved. We've had the party system for a while, but you can actually track your party members better. It's more stable. The mob system has been improved now, so they actually do spawn a lot better. They're balanced a little bit better and stuff. There's still a lot of issues there. The weapon system, we have a lot of different weapon types, quests and stuff. We have they crashed. We have a lot of lore systems which we haven't spoke about yet, but we actually do have hidden world objects in Skyrim. If you click on a book, you can read the pages and stuff. There is a lot of group-related content that we're planning to add in. Specifically in this build, we have 2 bosses, like field bosses that you can fight. One is a giant boar, and you need about 4 to 5 people to take that on. And then one is a giant plant creature, and you need like 4 or 5 to take that on, basically. So yeah, you need like a couple of creatures, a couple of friends, basically, to fight that. The trading system, which is the big economy system, which I think we're gonna have a lot of people like playing, is implemented in 1.6. So we have that, where you can trade items to each other. Then there's quite a lot. Then there's all like the technical side of stuff, which I won't go too much into. But we have like lots of optimization, FPS optimization, and stuff like that. But that's 1.6, which is coming November the 6th. No, that wasn't a short breath. I'm sorry, that was quite long.
It's okay. Don't ever apologize for going long tangents or speaking in length. Raptor and I both enjoy it all the time.
Yeah, I think I probably haven't even covered half of the content that's in 1.6, including like new like world locations, optimizations, and stuff like that. Now for your second question. We tend to give the simple answer of no, we will only ever stay on VRChat. But if we were to, because we don't own the license to to SAO and stuff, which is one of the biggest things that we wouldn't go off platform and stuff. If we were to ever get the license, or if we were to be reached to like make a standalone project and stuff, or in the event that VRChat shut down, we have the ability to do that. Like we have the skill in the team and stuff to do that. We could go standalone, but we have no plans on going standalone, simply because VRChat caters to all our needs. And its future updates align with our updates, its goals align with our goals and stuff. So for now, the plan is to stay only on VRChat, Quest compatible, and to be within the platform and stuff.
Okay.
Maybe one day in the future we might see a standalone game from us. Probably not Sword Art Online. Who knows? It could be a different title completely. But for now, it will only ever stay on VRChat. Don't know how you want to answer those 2 questions. But...
Yeah. So one of the reasons why it's not a standalone game is because making a multiplayer, especially a massively multiplayer online game, very expensive. So we'd have to pay for servers, keep them running 24/7. Probably also set up different servers in America, Europe, Asia, etc. So all of that has a cost, and we don't have the money to do that. So that's one of the reasons. Another big reason is that VRChat already has not only the multiplayer part, but the actual VR social part of it. So the avatar, the IK, the all the different things related to the player API. So like being able to teleport the player, being able to move him, or custom systems that interact with the player. That's also part of it. Being able to like do custom code with the player pose, so like the bone position, the player data, all of that, it's already there. And so if we had to go back and create something that's standalone in Unity, we would be running
ourselves. We'd have
yeah,
to,
we would be running into what I was
manually-
explaining before with the Oculus SDK or the SteamVR SDK. You'd have to make all of that yourself, and that's very, very time consuming, especially if you want to give the players their own personality, so their own avatar, being able to customize it. That is all a very complex system that we are very happy that VRChat already has it for us.
That makes a lot of sense. Sorry to put you on the spot.
It does come... No. Well, it does come with a lot of pros and cons. I would love to go standalone. There's lots of pros to it and stuff. We do have the skill to do it and stuff. The cons is... If we were standalone, I don't think we would actually live very long, because unless you know what Sword Art Online is, you wouldn't look for our project. And that's where I was saying about the different demographics of VRChat is one of our strengths. So we might get a group of like space marines that come into this world, and they're like, "What the hell is this world?" And they would have never found us if we weren't on VRChat. So you're always getting different players who could potentially like stay as players basically by staying in the VRChat platform that like a lot of people don't understand. We could go to Resonate, we could go to Chill Out VR. There's many other VR like emerging new platforms out there that are really cool and stuff. But for now, we're planning to stay within the VRChat like platform and ecosystem because like persistence is pretty cool when that comes out, and most of the, as I say, we tend to work very well with VRChat's like development cycle. So like whatever they put out, we tend to adopt that for us, and it works for us. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for explaining that. I very much enjoyed it. I was just kind of curious because it seems you guys are growing very fast. You guys got to go on with your update teams and your development of Argus like internally. So I was just kind of curious to ask that, like, will you grow outside of VRChat at one point? Will you kind of expand beyond the bounds of where you are now? Things like that. And I appreciate hearing the insights.
So yeah. So again, Zeratax's original goal with Project Aincrad and Argus was to create a multi-gaming studio where we had different experiences and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we've never really met that goal because of the level of work and detail that's needed on Project Aincrad. We've never been able to make multiple games and stuff and branch out standalone and do things like that. So that's one goal that I always wish that we could do, is like create more than just Aincrad and stuff. But for now we're just focusing on SAO and just being an SAO project and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I do wish you and Argus the absolute best, and I can't wait to see what you guys do. Like, honestly, after taking a peek and everything, it's exciting stuff.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Raptor.
There's a question I'm surprised you never asked, Raptor.
Oh God! You want me to ask that question through all this mess?
You've asked everyone else.
Why not? Here we go. And there goes my phone. Both of you being in here as long as you have, what's the weirdest thing you ever saw in VR? And you go, nope, that's not from. What's the weirdest thing you ever seen in VR?
I'll let you answer that.
Tony passes the buck. Nope, it's on you. Have fun there, live. Have a kick. Yeah. I'll pass it the boat, man.
What can I say that's not going to get you demonetized? So as I said, I've worked in a lot of communities. I'm a part of a lot of communities. Trans Academy, TVRS. 2017 was a very I call it the dark ages of VRChat. Because it was like really, really dark and messed up, and we used to have many crasher groups. I used to be a part of a few of the crasher groups because they used to have these tournaments where they would crash each other in VRChat for like real life money. Like whoever had like the most funniest crasher avatar or could do, like nowadays in VRChat, someone comes in and crashes you, it's kind of annoying and like a dick move to do. But back in 2017, they had panache, they had finesse. It was really funny, and some guy had created a giant penis avatar that wobbled like a Mr. Wobbly, like one of those car things. And we were all just sat in the Great Pug one night, and he just wobbled in and went, "I'm about to come!" And then he just exploded and crashed everyone. And it was the most funniest and weirdest shit I have ever seen. And you couldn't get angry at him. You couldn't get angry at that. And it was like,
oh my God, did you see what happened to him? He blew his wad and everybody died. Yeah, there you go. I like that one.
Yeah, but that was like the most weirdest and funniest thing I'd ever seen. Now it's kind of just annoying and stuff, but that was weird and funny. And I've got tons of stories that I can tell you about. But yeah, that was one of the weirdest and stuff from 2017. I think the weirdest for me though was back in 2017. Like VR headsets were really expensive, so to see someone move their feet freaked everyone out, and you would have these people coming in with like full body tracking, doing like pole dancing and stuff, and you'd be like, "What the fuck is that person doing, and why are they doing that on the ceiling?" It's like it was just not seen back then. So yeah, that was also freaked out people and stuff. So yeah, don't know what's your weirdest thing then, Live.
I think mine's pretty tame, honestly. I don't usually go. So lately, I haven't been playing VRChat as much because I'm busy with work and busy with studies. I actually spend more time in Unity than VRChat, I think, at this point. But one of the things that I remember being kind of like actually weirded out, because there's some things that in VRChat you know that happen and you kind of expect them, but then you stumble upon something else and it freaks you out. So I was in one of those public club worlds that have private rooms, and I was looking for a friend. I was going through the private rooms one by one because it was a very simple world. It didn't have like the list of players that are inside of each room. And then so I entered this room, and it was kind of like an L shape, so you had to go in a little bit and then turn right to see whoever was in the room. And so I go in, I turn right, and there are two like humanoid figures, but like Among Us humanoid figures, and they were doing some stuff in there. Yeah, they also had pretty big parts on them. So why am I here? And so the worst part was that they, for some reason, were facing towards where I was, so they clearly saw me, and they freaked out as well because they thought they had the door locked. And I just came in, and I left. I left. I didn't even go to my friend. I just left.
It sounds like, hey, girl, I know I'm at your parents' house. Did you lock the door? Yeah. Oh, crap. What the hell are you doing to my daughter? And going, oh, crap. Can I shoot through the window and get out of here? Yeah, it's about the same sense, yeah.
He did just remind me of a weird story, actually. I don't know if you remember the... So we have this funny meme in the community called like the sex update. We're not planning to add sex. We don't plan to do that at all. But we do have this weird, strange meme that exists, and it's because of the most weirdest like complaint that I've had about the world was a couple and their anniversary night came in to spend it in Aincrad for whatever reason. And we have colliders on the players, so like if you try to run into each other, you physically can't because of the combat system and stuff. So they tried to spend a lovely night in Aincrad, and apparently the colliders, when you put two colliders on top of each other in VRChat, one of the colliders will be sent into the stratosphere and into the sky. And I got this lovely complaint by one of the players saying, like, is there any possibility to have it toggled off? And I was like, well, no, because it doesn't make any sense combat-wise. Why would you want this? And in the most innocent way around it, they ended up explaining to me that they tried to have sex in our world and couldn't do it. And I was like, oh, this is so terrible.
Oh, my God.
My programming team will immediately add this update just for you. Yes. So I went to Live and was like, Live, we need to help these two people. This is
it's that saying going, wow, he really went up in the world and it took you forever to come back down. I wonder, you just wonder going, did he hit the spot when he came back down, or did he miss the situation and end up power driving the whole 9 yards into the concrete or the sidewalk?
Oh no, because he did, because we have fall damage in the world as well. So when he bounced up into the world and had to come down, you can die from fall damage. So not only did you he probably died from fall damage as well.
My God, this is not going to be good, but I'm going to say it anyhow. I blew, and I went up, and I come down, and I died. That was the best way to go out in life. Boom, 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 boom. I died for. Yeah, the experience for the Big Bang effect. Yeah, there you go.
But that was one of the most weirdest complaints I've ever had to deal with in this project over like the last 3 years. Was like, oh, you and your boyfriend couldn't get okay.
Yeah. Couldn't get it on. I died. That's the worst effect I've ever had.
Oh, so speaking of, don't die. Speaking of your community, sorry, I lagged for a second. Speaking of your community, what have been some of your favorite community interactions or events with your communities community that plays your world?
Yeah. So I think what I've enjoyed the most is honestly just hanging out in the world and meeting new people. Because like Savvy was saying, you could be in here one day in the public world, and very frequently a lot of people stumble upon the world because VRChat. Actually, it was one of the things I wanted to mention earlier. So VRChat is really nice that it has its own discoverability, because if you go and make your own game, you have to make it discoverable yourself. If you upload something to VRChat, it already has discoverability through the world search or world browser, right? So if your world gets popular, a lot of people will start joining. And so in here, I've stumbled upon a lot of great people, a lot of friends that I've encountered and met in the first place here, and I've made great relationships. So actually, one of my very good friends that is part of the team is Way Better. Way Better is recently made a co-owner of ArgusVRC and manager, and we met here in Project Aincrad, and back all the way back then, she wasn't part of the team, but we talked about a lot of things. We talked about SAO, we talked about the world. I explained to her that this and that, and the programming and all of that stuff. So it was really nice to just like be able to talk to someone that's interested in the same things. So really just like meeting new people, meeting friends that are into the same things here in the world, that is really awesome and that I've had the opportunity to work on. It's honestly a great experience.
Wow, that's very wholesome. Oh, thank you. Oh.
So how do I answer this one? What was the question again? Sorry, what's the most favorite
community interaction or community event interactions you've had?
We've actually had quite a lot, me specifically with this community a lot. So we've actually had like IRL meetups where we've been to PAX East in Boston. I recently just got to go to Japan for VCat Real with Lun and stuff. And the VCat team, specifically with our community, though we do like the mini events as well, like we do Halloween and stuff like that. But I have to say, my all-time favorite thing that I like, I actually have it recorded. There's two. I'm going to say two. Every time we do an update or every time we do like an event, I tend to host QA sessions basically for people to come in to. We have like a little studio world. Which is like an auditorium, and you can go into that world basically, and you can ask us questions. You can come up to the microphone. It's like being at like a Comic-Con, and you can ask the team anything you want. And I love those interactions because people are the weirdest in VR chat, and they come up to the microphone and they ask some strange things, and I love it. Like really strange things that we get asked at those events. So I love interacting with the community there. I come in every day, and it tends to be like that all the time. People run up to me and be like, "When are you adding in like dinosaurs?" And it's like, "What?" And they're like, "I really want a dinosaur." It's like, "Why?" And like so those little things. But when we had Questmas, the Russians invaded the world at one point, and it was just a bunch of these like 10-year-olds. They didn't know I was part of the team, and they didn't know I was like part of the world team and stuff, or like the owner and stuff. So like I had turned into a brush and followed along with them, and we have admin panels in the world where we can spawn in items and stuff. So I like ran around with all these like little brushes, and they got bullied by some of the PKers. So I gathered all the brushes together, and I was like, right, we're gonna take back this world. So I spawned in a load of elucidators, and like hearing a load of 10-year-olds scream at the top of their world, "I love this world!" while giving them all arms and telling them, "You can now go fight the people who've been oppressing you," was the best thing.
Wow.
Like they didn't win.
Wow.
And so that's what was even sad. They didn't win the battle, but the fact that they tried and they had fun, that was for me one of the highlights. I've got that recorded as a little clip and stuff. They like just an
Oh
arm
my
of them
God.
shots. We have a character. His name is Tan15, and he just annihilates anyone that goes near him with a sword. So yeah, there was these loads of brushes that ran up against him, and he just killed them all one by one. But it was brilliant to watch. That's my favorite. Yeah.
I could see why it would be your favorite. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a bunch of 10-year-olds on a sugar buzz. Watch ants go into a.
They put themselves into like two little teams and had like they were giving themselves code names. They were like, "We're Bravo team, you'll be Charlie team. We'll attack them on the left, you'll attack them on the right," and they all just died anyway. And it was like, oh, at least they tried.
Right.
Kind of sounds like a
ants on a sugar cube.
So,
Kind of sounds like
seeing that
Leroy
is
Jenkins.
like the highlight for me.
But a bunch of 10-year-olds and brushes.
Exactly, like that type of thing. Brushes, with elucidators. Yeah, so yeah, that was like one of my highlights in here. Yeah.
So,
and then I think actually I do have one more, which happens every single day, and I can guarantee I can go into a public world now, and I this interaction happens all the time. The moment someone swipes down the menu with their finger and they freak out and see that menu, I have a massive smile on my face when I'm standing there watching them. Like, you will see people join the world and they don't know we have the menu, and then when they read the board and they go, "Wait, I can do this," and they swipe down with it and they freak out and squeal. That's also one of the big for me. And that's like, right, that's why we make this game. That's why we put that's why we crunch and stuff. So
yeah. Well, thank you very much. 2 last questions before we wrap up. Where did your names come from, and why do you still use them?
Oh, I will let you answer yours because mine's very long-winded.
Is Live there?
Is he alive?
I think I don't think he's alive. I think he needs motor oil to grease up his armature, because I think he's stuck.
Yeah. So I'll best answer the question then for a while because mine's very long-winded. I am not. So for those of you who are like running to VRCX to search up my name and stuff, savvychap is not my original name. It is an alter name that I use specifically for the project and for business stuff. I have another alt account which is called Freaky Old Man, and I used to walk around as Herbert the Pervert. Where is that avatar? And I work with the TVRS for fear and stuff like that. And I work with a couple of groups and stuff. I'll try and switch into the avatar so people might recognize it, because it's pretty unique Herbert the Pervert. It's this one. So this is my dripped out Herbert the Pervert avatar that I run around in VRChat for many years and stuff. Sunglasses and stuff like that. So I would use this for at least 6 or 7 years, but of course I work on the TVRS as an event lead, and having the name Freaky Old Man when you're on live stream and shouting, "You can turn the stream off now, Freaky Old Man," is a bit weird to people watching on Twitch, and they're like, "Huh? Who's running the live stream? They have a freaky old man in a basement somewhere? What?" So and also being a part of this project as well, people would not come up to me with the name Freaky Old Man. I'd either instantly get blocked, or people would be like, "Who the hell is that?" So I had to change the name when I joined Argus and the TVRS to savvychap. And instantly, as I was saying before, the mentality of VRChat players, it changed instantly. Oh, you're back. Hey. So yeah, so for me, the savvychap name actually came from way better our community manager and one of the co-owners. Because I had to come up with like a unique name for like that side of stuff. And yeah, I like Captain Jack Sparrow. She likes Captain Jack Sparrow. So like she always has this thing where she's like savvy, and Captain Jack Sparrow says that. So savvy came from that. Chap in the UK is like man and stuff. So it's like savvy man. So yeah, it came up with that. So that's how I came with that name. But my original name, I can't remember what it is. I think it was kind of racist back in 2017. It did get banned, because if you haven't been banned in VRChat, you haven't played VRChat at all. That used to be like a whole culture back in 2017 in the dark ages. People would like do competitions on how fast they could get banned and stuff. So it was like a whole rite of passage. It was like, you've been banned in VRChat? Oh, I want to be your friend. And it's like, why? That's stupid now. Looking back on it now, in 2017, we all did some stupid things in VRChat when it first came out. Because it was like, who could be the biggest ego of the night? And if you were the biggest ego, you got lots of friends and stuff. But now it's like looking back going, why did I waste like so much time and effort on like doing that shit when I could have like been doing this instead? But yeah. But yeah, that's where the name came from. The community picked it for me. They're asking about names and like how did you get your name and stuff. So where did LiveDimensions come from?
Mine is honestly pretty just like simple and kind of stupid. Back in 2011, I was very small. I was 11 years old, and I was into Minecraft. I was watching YouTube gameplays, and I was like, "Oh, Minecraft's really cool. I want it." So, my parents were never really fond of video games. So it was like a very special occasion for me to ask to get a game. I wanted to get Minecraft. And so I pretty please, Mom, can I have Minecraft, please? And fortunately, she said yes. But then I was like, okay, going through the register and like I paid and everything. And then I had to put the name, right? And I was like, oh, it has to be the most greatest and most epic name ever. And I came up with LiveDimensions for some reason. I honestly really like it now. But back then, I think kind of my logic was like, yeah, I'll be this guy that goes through dimensions and Minecraft dimensions. And so my skin was like this kid with white t-shirt, but it would have a blue portal here and then the orange portal in the back. So it was also kind of a reference to Portal, the game. And it was just kind of like this thing about me going through dimensions, and I don't know why I came up with Live, but honestly, I'm kind of happy about that because I like names that are short and simple and easily to recognize.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, the freaky old man name actually came from the Metaverse Korean community. So like we used to have a lot of Koreans, we still do in VRChat. So when I lost my first account in the Great Purge of 2018, because that's when VRChat tried to get rid of crash. In 2017, everyone was like, crashing is funny, hey hey. In 2018, we were like, we're trying to play the game, can you please stop doing that? So the VRChat team decided we should go on a great crusade and kill all of these crashes. And they do try to do that. They contrary to their belief, they do actually try to do their job. So like I got caught in that wave, and then I came back on a redemption arc. I was like, I will behave myself and like try to like improve the community and not destroy it. So I was playing the Metaverse Korean community like area as Herbert the Pervert, the avatar, but I had a different name. They couldn't pronounce it in English at all, so all of the girls and the guys in there would just call me Freaky Old Man. They'd be like, Freaky Old Man is the killer. And I'd be like, oh, damn. And like it just stuck. So I was like, okay, that's my name now, I'm going to change it. So I changed it to Freaky Old Man because they couldn't pronounce my actual name. So yeah.
That's awesome. Final to the last question. The avatars you're both in, what made you choose them and why do you still use them? And is there anything about it or any features that mean anything to you?
I'll let you answer yours because mine's really simple.
All right. So this avatar, I didn't make it. I bought it on Booth. the creator is a Japanese artist, so I can't really pronounce their name, but the avatar itself is called X Diver. I don't know how it's actually said in Japanese, but I know that one of the files is X Diver, so maybe you can find it with that. But it is on Booth, it's public, so I pretty much just downloaded it and edited it myself. I made it have the pink colors. The original is more orange, and the gray is a little bit different, I think. So I just I got it, I modified it, I did change the textures. I am in the process of learning 3D modeling, but I have no clue, and the Blender scares me. So I really didn't touch the model itself. I mostly just added things to the textures. This little thing is a decal with Poyomi, and so on and so forth. I actually some time ago was working on a tool that made avatar creation a lot simpler. I think you asked me for it and I never sent it, or
I
maybe I
did.
sent you a very easy version.
Yeah.
But
You sent me the
it was a
prototype
pretty
to
cool.
test out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a tool called Autoprop. I never released it because I didn't have time to finish it, but it would essentially let you to, instead of having to go through animations and setting all of that stuff with the animations, which is very tedious, and the unfortunate side of having to do things with animations, I made a tool that made the animations for you. So you would just like, I don't know, if you want to have a hat and put that on a toggle, you drag and drop it to my tool, you give it your head bone, adjust it to the position, click setup, and you'd have a button on your radial menu to toggle it. So I never finished that, but I did work with that to set up this avatar. And so I don't think I have that much stuff on this one, but
this was before VR Fiori existed and the modular avatar system. So like way before all that. That all now exists and stuff. There's lots of tools that you can just drag and drop now. But back then I was begging because I was trying to learn toggles for my avatar and I could never do it. And Live is a programmer, and I was like, you must know how to like fix this issue. So he was working on it.
Yeah, that's also part of the reason why I never really finished it, because there are better tools for that nowadays. But back then, I think it was like probably more than a year ago.
Probably,
maybe 2.
Yeah, it was more.
But one of the things that I made, this one doesn't have that much stuff, and I don't know where the other avatar is, but this little animation. That's kind of like SAO death.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This one was made
That's
with my
nice.
sister, but I didn't really touch any animation files. I just tell it to like, oh, change this value on the Poyomi shader for the emission, and then disable the mesh after this amount of time, and then play the particles. So it was pretty simple to set up with my system. But there's also this decal, which I don't think I have the toggle on it, but there used to be a toggle for this. Then way back then with another avatar, I didn't use my tool that I was programming, but I used another thing called Animator as Code that's made by Hi, I believe. And I made the SAO menu, so the one that you see by pulling down your menu, your finger. I put that in my avatar, fully functional with like buttons that you could press with the new context systems for the avatars, and also I could click like certain things on my avatar. Like I could click the Argus logo, and then 2 buttons would show up for to like disable and enable. It was very interesting tangent of the things that I've done in VRChat, but I never really finished it, and I don't know if I have it on hand. But yeah, I like messing around with stuff. And the reason why it's a robot is I like robots. I studied digital systems and robotics, so I'm an engineer now. And yeah, I like robots.
Awesome. I love the avatar, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What about you, Savvy?
So my answer's not as long as his. I look like this IRL. This is like what I actually physically look like in real life. So
he does.
Yeah. He's actually seen me. I actually have like Argus shit like this, and I've just bought Argus shoes recently. Like I can cosplay myself when I go to events now. which I did at Japan actually. Yeah. Lon, like, cause like Lon was asking me, he's like, "What do you?" He's like, "I only know what your avatar looks like, or what do you look like in real life." I was like, "I look like this human that you're standing in front of you right now." Because it always baffles me. Like everyone in VR chat is either like a giant space marine or a fairy or a goblin or something strange or like a robot and stuff. You don't see human avatars or like a really big muscly e-boy that's bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna model like what I look like in real life. So when people ask me what do you look like in real life, I can go pretty much this. What you're seeing right now is exactly how I look. Like even the proportions. Like I got pretty much everything correct.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, if the audience wishes to reach
That
out and
is very
find
nice.
either of you and Argus or this world, where would they go to find you?
The easiest way to answer this, because we have so many socials and stuff, is if you just type in Argus. Actually, oh no, I can say it now because we have one. ArgusVRC.com. We actually have a website now, which we are slowly improving. FTW's just built that for us, so we actually do have the website at ArgusVRC.com. We're hoping to like update it and like improve it so that like the applications, how to join the team, how to get into the community and stuff. That is all on there at the moment. We have like the Discord links and all our social links are on there. But if you just type in ArgusVRC in Google or Project Aincrad, we tend to show up as like the first results now, which is scary. So yeah, you can find us just under the handle ArgusVRC.
Oh wow. Thank you very much. And if they wish to reach out to either of you personally, where could they find you?
My Discord is Mr. savvychap, and then he crashed. And then my username is just savvychap as well in VRC. Pretty much it's just savvychap everywhere. I sort of made sure that like it's just savvychap everywhere for people to get a hold of me and stuff. And generally the VRChat forums. A lot of people don't know, but VRChat actually has a forums. Ask.vrchat. I've butchered that now. I'm sure it's ask.vrchat.forums.com. I probably have said that completely wrong, but yeah, VRChat actually has a forums, and I'm really active on there, or in the VRChat like Discord. You can find me there too. So yeah.
Okay. And where can people find you personally, LiveDimensions?
You can find me under LiveDimensions pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Discord, everywhere. I think I have the same name in everywhere. Feel free to reach out if you have questions regarding programming. I really like helping other people, and if you're interested specifically about Argus, like joining the team, like Savvy was saying, we will be opening applications soon, so be on the lookout in the Discord. I guess a little like plug for myself. I do have world commissions open, usually more related to programming side. So if you're looking to make a complex system for a game or teleports or like a moderation system related to anything programming, feel free to reach out. I like doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually say that just yeah, most of the team actually does do that. Yeah, although we work specifically on this world, we have like 3D modelers and you need like an avatar, if you need coding, stuff like that, we do have like a lot of team members that don't just specifically will only work on this thing. If they have time, they'll also work out with you. So yeah, if you reach out to me and be like, hey, I need this, I usually am like the networking and PR guy where I'll be like, oh, you need to go see like Liontail, or you need to go and see Kerbal, or you need to go and see Lorne, or Fear, or this guy, or Tupper, or Tizzy, and you're looking for this person. So usually I do stuff like that. I'm like the yellow pages of VR chat, pretty much. People will come to me and go, do you know such and such a person? I'm like, yes, I actually do know that person. Let me go and take you as they're on my friends list. So, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And all of those links for you, the audience, will be in the description down that way. For Argus, for Savvy, and LiveDimensions, everything will be down there in one easy to find place. So, along with other fun links and stuff down there, it's too many at this point to list out to you here. Just go down that way. And before we close up, we'll give you the audience question and give it to Raptor to close us out, which is, what is your favorite anime? And there's only one real answer, otherwise you're wrong. And with that said, Mr. Raptor, you know the thing.
Oh, yeah, I know the thing, and you make it harder every goddamn time. No matter what, folks, how you play it in here or in this world and everything else like this. But I want you to imagine this. Can you imagine seeing me holding a big sword? I'd be dragging it behind me, using it as an actual skateboard. Maybe they could put wheels on it. But we'll see. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.